Hey, everybody. Welcome to a new episode of Whiskey Wheels Wounds. As always, I'm Shawn.
And I am Steve.
This is going to be the new thing to try to see who
Okay.
trips up who.
Cool. And I'm Steve.
9-year Air Force vet, 22-year Army vet.
Yep.
Steve, what's our highlighted whiskey or featured whiskey of the week?
So our featured whiskey this week is called Veterans Cut. It is from the Eight Oaks Farm Distillery just outside of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Veterans Cut is single barrel, is bottled in bond. It's aged 4 years. It's 100 proof. And again, it's veteran owned. And it's in I want to say New Tripoli, Pennsylvania, so I will. And the owner is Chad Butters. So this week's featured whiskey is Veterans Cut. And we went there last year on deployment when we did our American History tour. We stopped in and
Yeah, we missed the Philadelphia leg.
right.
We met up in Gettysburg.
Yeah. So we were able to scoot up there and acquire another bottle. Very nice farm they have. Very nice distillery, little eatery. Um, you know, very nice. Gives you something to aspire to if you want to get into distilleries and stuff.
Bottling of said whiskey.
Yes.
So, our last couple of episodes have been ones we squirreled away before we took our trip.
Yep.
We've been back a little over a week. For those that don't know, the organization that we're part of, they had their national meeting in Minnesota this year. And instead of taking a 2-day trip to Minnesota from Ohio, uh, we all got the brainiac idea. We'll take a 4-day detour through Canada to get to Minnesota. And this episode's going to be kind of a recap of our trip because, we love to ride and that's kind of integral to our well-being. And just kind of pick out some highlights and some lowlights of the 3,000-mile journey that encompassed 2 countries, 2 provinces, and 6 states.
Yeah. And I think the enticing thing was to be international riders.
We are international.
Yeah, we're international men of mystery. And that enticement quickly, not to get into the bad already, but I mean, it was, so we started off, I think we had a good ride up to, Michigan.
Before we get too started in the ride, we got to give a huge shout out to Schmitty's Marathon.
Oh, most
huge
certainly.
shout out.
Yep.
We didn't realize that they were going to be closed because we were meeting there so early, and I was on fumes.
Yeah.
And they opened their doors, let everybody go to the bathroom, offered coffee, and turned their fuel pumps on early so that we could get fuel and get started on the trip.
Yep.
It was like a half hour early.
Smitty's in Nashport on 16 in Ohio. Yeah, we did a little internet sleuthing prior to they open at 5 most days except on Sundays, and we left on Sunday.
Yeah.
So
huge shout out to them.
And initially we were leaving on Saturday,
and it wouldn't have mattered.
And it would, it wouldn't have mattered. But then, some things changed and pushed our start day back a day. So that's one of the things we didn't double check, the start time at Smitty's.
1, great people. 2, it really shows the benefits of having a family run place because they can do things like, hey, we'll go ahead and if you guys got to use the bathroom, hey, it's Father's Day. Any fathers out there want a free hot cup of coffee? And we'll get these fuel pumps kicked on for you guys so you can fill up and get started.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huge shout out to Schmitty's Marathon.
And I think it's one of the many benefits of wearing the patch that we wear.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I think if it was 12 other bikes sitting out in the parking lot, maybe, now I don't know, what I mean? I don't know the people at Smitty's enough to make, but, I think, you see,
Our patch that we wear, our back patch, gets reverence from the public at large as opposed to other back patches that they may see.
right,
Um, Ours has less of a negative stigma than some
right,
others
agreed. And
but it's the nature of the name. So
yeah, and like we always say, the same people that thank you for your service at said gas station are motherfucking you on the road.
we're trying to kill you.
Right? Or they're motherfucking you on the road or trying to fucking, they're giving you the bird on the way by because you're 9 bikes deep in front of them. But
So
yeah,
we had a very early morning on Sunday,
yeah,
the 17th,
yeah,
and was it the 17th? No, the
it was.
16th.
No, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. It was Father's Day. How about that? And it was a Sunday. So our first day was where we're at in Ohio, Schmitty's Marathon,
Yeah,
to Sault Ste. Marie
yeah.
on the border of
Can't
Canada
get
and
can't get
Michigan.
any more north in Michigan than Sault Ste. Marie.
Yep.
Um,
What a bad ride. I did not
no, it,
I
it
did
was
not mind riding through Michigan at all.
no. I mean, granted, being Ohio State fans, blah blah blah. I don't give a fuck. I mean,
When we went by Ann Arbor, I said Michigan. The signs that said Ann Arbor, I said Michigan sucks
right. I mean, I get it.
because they do.
I mean,
But yeah,
right. Um, but yeah, I mean, we're not the Woody Hazes to fucking. I'd rather push my car out of Michigan than to buy a gallon of gas. I mean, I'm not that fucking dude. Um, I mean, but yeah, I mean,
well,
north,
we couldn't ride the bikes across Lake Erie, so we had to go through Michigan.
facts. Yeah, going north. I mean, you get past, um, you get past Ann Arbor, you get past Detroit, you get north on 75, and it's 75. That's, I mean, that's a luxury in itself. Um, um,
And you said one of the best things I've ever heard after riding on that road.
what's that?
If you get a ticket on 75, you earned that
You,
motherfucker.
you fucking earned it. Like if you get a ticket, because one, very few state highway patrol,
Right. Yeah, it was rare.
very few, and so there's that, and the latitude that you're given. Um, Now, if you're going 95, you earn that ticket. Say yes, sir, and fucking
Yeah.
grab the piece of paper and move out. Like you
Because
earn that shit.
we were cruising at a good clip, 75, 80 miles an hour, and there were people just
Blowing by us. Yeah, they were blowing by us. Like we're fucking um like they did not appreciate our service. that's that's how they were passing us. Like fuck you and your service. But yeah, I mean, it is, and it's just long stretches. I mean, just look at the map of Michigan and you're like, man, that's a long state. Yep, it is. Get on 75, head north, put cruise control on fucking 80, 82, and fucking not hit your goddamn accelerator again for fucking 2 hours.
yeah.
You know, it's fucking phenomenal. Uh, yeah. And traffic is not horrible.
Because they're
Especially,
usually moving at such a high clip it can't back up.
yeah, traffic's not horrible, so it was great all the way up. Now we did hit some weather when we hit the Mackinac Bridge. That what's the word? Inhibited
Visual enjoyment.
your wife to
Yeah.
record.
She is now she spent 36 seconds as the camera person for this trip, and then she was promptly fired because I got the GoPro. It's mounted up on the handlebars, and because my goal was to record as much of the trip as I could, and I'm like, hey, we're getting ready to go across the bridge. You know how she is about water and
Yeah.
stuff. I'm like, you want me to keep it on here? I said, or do you want to hold it up so you can kind of move it around? Oh, I'll hold it and move it around. And then we hit that nasty ass storm, got behind that RV, and she promptly recorded for 36 seconds and then put it away.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck? And she goes, well, it was foggy and raining and you really couldn't see anything. I'm like, that's not the point, woman.
Yeah.
So yeah, we
got footage of the bridge. I'm just saying, you can get that from my spouse.
yeah. But the weather was also A, nicer,
It was.
and B, you only went across it again because you fucked up.
Right, and we'll get into that. I'll own that shit. But yeah, so it's one of those things where we crossed. I've crossed that in previous rides up there. It's a nice ride across the bridge. 5 miles, I think it is. 5 mile bridge. That's pretty significant. The center, the outside of the bridge is asphalt. The inside is graded.
So we needed to stay on the right side.
And I was not getting on them fucking grates and eating shit in the middle of a fucking bridge where people behind you can't see. Speed limit is 40. I want to say 40.
It was like 35 or 40.
Yeah.
It wasn't fast.
But that camper in front of us, it was going like 23, and I was fine with it.
I think it was probably Canadian. So, it saw like 40 and thought that was 40 kilometers an hour and needed to go half that.
Yeah, they were going fucking 15. Yeah, got it.
Oh, one of the cool things I did see when we were in Michigan, we stopped to put on our rain gear before we hit the bridge. Those two graybeards from Canada that were pulling that trailer with those two bikes on the back of them when we stopped, because you guys are all putting your rain gear on and I'm over there fucking gawking. It was a 1943 Indian military and a 1943 Harley Davidson WLC. And for those of you that know old Harleys, a WLA is the military version. The WLC, which I had no idea, learned something new that day. WLA is for American, WLCC is for Canadian.
Ah.
They actually were a little bit different. I didn't know that. I got to learn some information from those old guys as well. But it was pretty cool. They were coming back from a vintage bike show, so it was kind of awesome.
And they were decked out. They were fully dressed, had rifle bags, and
they were cool.
The whole deal. So yeah, they were nice.
Yeah,
nice indeed.
That was my little treat for the day that day.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, and then Sault Ste. Marie for the evening. Now where the fuck up incurred was, we did. I've talked on this podcast a few times about carrying. Why I don't carry for the safety of others. I don't carry for my personal safety. Because again, I never worry about my personal safety.
It's the concern, not fear, but concern that someone may catch you in a moment of anger and you might be quick to have I'm going to stand in the middle of an intersection in Iraq and
because
show people my pew pew.
I'm very programmed to do stupid shit on a whim. Yeah. So, but I also I don't want to be left short, right? I don't want to be left short. Now, the gun in question is a snub nose Taurus G3 9mm. And somebody would listen to that and be like, "Bud, you're already short." You know what I mean? Yeah, I get that.
It probably looks like a little tiny squirt gun in your hand.
It does, and it has a glass on it and all. I mean, nice little piece that I bought for my wife. So it's not mine per se, but it fits in the pocket of our bag perfectly. Like you won't even notice it's there.
Shocker.
And if you have a brain injury and you take the bag off the bike and you take all the shit out of the bag off the bike, you throw it in the washer, you take the bag from the bike, you put it back on the shelf in the garage, and you don't pay any mind to it until the next time you grab it. And yeah, and normally um, I have an S&P that I've taken with us every other year, and um, this year was the first year because I bought that pistol for Chrissy for Christmas. So this year is the first year that we had it, and I bought her a holster for it from um, We the People Holsters, and it's um, in the holster, in the holster bag. So that's how fucking ill prepared I am for someone to fucking draw on me. Anyways, so it's in the pocket of my bag. You take that bag, carry it upstairs, throw all the clothes in the bag, zip it up, bring it downstairs, put it on the bike. And so uh, at one of the stops, we put we put some stuff in the other pocket for easy access, and Chrissy wanted something out of the pocket, and I open it up. There's the bag. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Oh shit! You know. Now it's not a big deal to have a pistol in the United States. It is a big deal to have a pistol in Canada.
It's a really big deal to take it across the border.
It's a really big deal to take it across the border. So I find this out at some point during our travel north, and now I have a dilemma. What do I do about this pistol? So I don't even tell Chrissy yet. You know what I mean? Like I want to have a plan. Um,
Before she starts worrying.
right. And I'm like, well, fuck it. I'll disassemble it and I'll just chuck this shit into fucking Lake Huron and we'll be done with it. And then I'm like, well, it ain't mine to fucking chuck. And I was like, well, I'll chuck it. I'll buy her a new one. She won't fucking know. You know what I mean? And I'm like, no. Anyway, so I quickly, not quickly, I stayed up most of the fucking night uh, worrying about this shit as I do with things, mind fucking it. So I came up with the brilliant plan that I would get a storage shed, storage unit, and place the weapon in the storage unit. And then at some point, I would come back and get said weapon. And so a little Google search. There's a U-Haul within walking distance of our hotel, um, right across the street. Matter of fact, they opened at 7. We were looking to leave 8 o'clock the next morning. That's plenty of time. So get up, get everything on the bike early. Um, I also had to run and get a screw for my windshield. One of those came loose, so um, that was also a reason I had to leave. So go over to the U-Haul place. Of course, it opens at 7. Um, I don't know. They must be on fucking Eastern or Central Standard Time, not Eastern Standard Time, because dude wasn't there. And then dude shows up and he's like, I don't know, 1920, fucking hair all disheveled. And I'm like, all right, you had a good night, bro. I get it. Uh, and yeah, um, quickly gave me a storage unit. Didn't have to pay for it. Got a complimentary lock, didn't have to pay for. That was cool. He showed me how to use the swipe card. Cool. Um, Took me back, said, here's your locker. Cool. Opened it up, put the gun in, closed it, put the lock on, got on my bike, went to Walmart. They didn't have what I was looking for my windshield. Came back, we rolled out. And yeah, went up to the border. So yeah. So I worried a whole lot. Um, the one thing I was not going to do is carry a weapon into Canada, not wearing the patch we wear, and I'm not putting other people's vacation in jeopardy, trip in jeopardy, because of my stupidity. So I would, so the gun was never going into Canada. However, we get to the border, and again, maybe it's are you guys military? Yep. And the questions might have been a little different for us. That you know what I mean? I don't know. Like it's my first time crossing
Well,
into
you were
Canada.
the first bike to go across.
Right.
I was the sixth bike, I think. Um, and it was definitely that
Right.
because by the time it got to me, he's like, you guys are all military. He said, you got anything to declare? Nope. You got this? Nope. All right. He goes, no excitement. Go on.
Right.
And so, I mean, he kind of just got the gist that we were going to follow the rules. And
Right.
I mean, it was a correct assumption on his part,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it was definitely an assumption.
Right. And so as soon as we get in there, I'm like, motherfucker. Like, and then I have half a mind to tell you guys, hey, stay here 10 minutes. Let me fucking run back over there.
Then he would have checked you.
Right. Then he would have fucking checked me like, hey, so what happened? Like you left your fucking uh your fucking key of cocaine over there and like but yeah, so I'm like, all right, fuck it. So we get in, we're in Canada, and
Well, that same dude, so Huey was behind me.
right.
When he rolled up, the guy looked at him and said, "Hey," he said, I seen all these bikes with vests coming up," and he goes, "I thought things were going to be a lot different than they actually were. In reality, you fuckers are boring."
Yeah, we're boring. Facts. I mean, it right. It's one of those things where um Americans earn a bad reputation already,
Yes.
and we don't want to contribute to that.
Yeah.
If we can go up there for 4 days or whatever, and give people a sense of, oh, they're not all assholes, you know, then we're doing our part. So, yeah. So the in America, I like to do 8 over the speed limit. Canada, we didn't do that. You know, even in spots where like we need to fucking go. We need to fucking go. Like my
That was the worst part.
yeah, yeah. So we get there. Um, we stop at a little exchange booth to exchange some currency, not knowing what we don't know. Um, some very polite attendant in there was like, "Hey, make sure you don't use your debit cards. Use credit cards." Like they were giving us fucking real poop, right? I mean, like real good G2 right off the rip, and you're like, "Oh, thank you, appreciate it." And so yeah, I guess we didn't do as much research going in as we should have.
Well, and this is going to sound very ignorant of me, but we kind of look at Canada as like America light
Right.
because the border's so fluid.
Yeah. And
There's so much back and forth.
and everywhere you go in the fucking states around here, you see in Ontario fucking plates.
Yep.
And you're like, well, it can't be that hard to
And
find.
I remember when I was a kid, you'd get like quarters back, and one of them would be a Canadian. It was just kind of, you just kind of really don't think about it because the stuff goes back and forth so much. So again,
Yeah.
like I said, we sound a little ignorant, but
There's a lot of talk about border, and it's never the northern border. You know
yeah,
what I mean? So I get it. So yeah, I mean you kind of know there's a difference, but you don't know the difference.
yeah. you
Uh,
you overlook the difference.
yeah. So I mean, but again, Canadians, they're known to be very polite, uh, very polite culture. And soon as soon as we were there, we see it. Dude's like, hey, make sure you don't use your fucking debit cards. Um, we're getting notifications on our phones to, you know, change settings on our phones and shit. And so we're in. We'll get some currency. We move. We get some gas. Huge difference. Gas stations, they're in liters, not gallons. Their octane's different. So there's that.
Yeah, the highest one we found in Canada was 91.
Yeah. So, now we did know that going in. We did take some octane boosts with us, but the bike still ran like shit. Hard to start. Took them a minute to start. It just um, it wasn't until I started putting 93 back in it that it would start right up. So, yeah, and then we get out on what is that fucking two, whatever that fucking
17,
seven. That's what it
the
was.
Trans
17.
Canadian Highway.
Yeah,
It goes all the way across.
17 around Lake Superior, and
The province of Ontario.
yeah. Now, early on, when it's fucking beautiful water and that's great, man. It was, and the whole time, like in my head, I'm like, like we're passing things. I know people in the group wanted to stop. Like I'm like, man, I know Becky's saying this motherfucker should have stopped. You know what I mean? But you can't stop at everything. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those things where we have fucking 500 miles to get through.
Yeah. And for those of you that don't know, the speed limit on the Trans Canadian Highway is 90 kilometers an hour,
Yeah.
which is 54 miles per hour.
Yeah.
And 500 miles at 54 miles per hour on a motorcycle in the rain fucking sucks.
Yeah. You want to talk about embracing the suck? Holy shit.
The scenery was gorgeous. Yeah. It was literally like riding 12 hours on a treadmill.
Yeah. Yeah. Facts. And, so we get there, speed limits, the speed limit signs are kilometers, like, that going in. And like, I'm trying to fucking math. Right. And my math ain't mathing. You know what I mean? I'm like, fuck. I'm like, I'll stay with the flow of traffic. Fuck it. Stay with the flow of traffic, then we're good. And then I'm like, motherfucker, like, we do 20 Ks in the Army for 12-mile road march. Okay. Now do math. Like, so 20K, 40 Ks, 24. You know what I mean? Now, is it 24? No. But it's roughly, you know what I mean? Like when you start adding points,
yeah,
where speed limits in America would be 55, it'll be 54 or whatever. So I'm like, all right, so I start mathing like that, and then I'm like, okay, we're good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So I did it, but I did it slightly backwards. From my time in Germany, everything was in kilometers. 100 kilometers is 60 miles an hour. So I just went backwards by 6.
Right.
So
yeah. So and man, it was a godsend to see 100
oh man,
triple digit
when we crossed over into Manitoba and it went to 110 kilometers an hour, we all thought we were like now it was like 2 different planets too when you cross from Ontario into Manitoba.
And it's hard to explain. Now I get it. Fucking there's like people will listen to this and be like, the difference between 90 kilometers and 100 kilometers is 10 kilometers. Yes. But the physical reaction of your body, of your bike going faster.
Yeah. We went from 54 miles an hour to 66 miles an hour.
Your bike going fast. Like it was just going faster. Like you're like, holy shit. And then the scenery changed. Your body's like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like your fucking mood, at least for me, my mood immediately changed.
And the weather got better.
Yeah. And then now you're moving into more metropolitan areas.
So for those that don't know, Ontario is like the eastern United States. It's dense forests, it's hilly,
Yeah.
lots of rocks. Like it's gorgeous, absolutely
It's the
gorgeous.
UP.
Yeah. Once you cross into Manitoba, it's like crossing into Nebraska and Kansas. It was flat farmland as far as you could see.
Yeah.
And the farther we went west, you started seeing these little things popping up, and then you got closer. And then out of nowhere, there was Winnipeg.
Yeah.
Like out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But it was all flat. The sun was shining. We were going 66 miles an hour. Woo-hoo! And we saw a giant city
Yeah.
on the horizon. So
Yeah.
we knew that that was where we were staying for the night.
Yeah.
That's where we're going.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like when we were going across Ontario and it was just treadmill, 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 treadmill.
Yeah. And then you stopped. And then you get up the next morning and,
Did it all over again. We did stay the first night in Canada in Thunder Bay.
we did. And it was really nice.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
Really nice. And Thunder Bay, and it took a minute to get down off of 17 into Thunder Bay and got into some residential that place we stopped at that evening. That dude was fucking right the bar. I wish I could you remember the name of that? Fuck. That dude, like they closed at 10. We were there at 9:30, and that they served us drinks, served us food. He's like, as long as you're here, we're open. We're like, fuck, all right, man.
It was like Mike's or Mickey's or something like that.
Yeah, man.
Because he was right next to your hotel and we were right across the road.
Food was so good. Food was so good. Drinks, that dude had a nice heavy hand, and exactly what I needed at the time. Had a nice heavy hand. Food was on point, and so again, the hospitality of the people in Canada, and I know I said Canada because
That was the running
right
joke for us.
the people in Canada very hospitable. At every place we went to, really. So yeah, Thunder Bay was Thunder Bay was nice.
Wawa was pretty good.
Yeah,
That food place was really good.
we ate at the Wawa.
The Wawa Goose Bar and Grill.
Yeah, that chick in there, she was pretty.
Yeah, she was squared away.
She didn't take no shit from nobody,
She,
and she gave a little back to you. So we
the
like
food
that.
was good.
Food, yeah.
It wasn't badly priced.
No, and I don't think anything was badly priced there. And with the exchange rate, it's coming up on your bill differently anyways.
Yeah.
You're like, I didn't pay $17 there. I paid, you know what I mean? So, yeah, that's a good plus. So, yeah, we didn't, the only bad, and we didn't speak about them, the only bad food spot
Was the very first one
was and we didn't speak about them
in
because
Michigan.
they shouldn't be spoke of.
Yeah. It was a place that we were excited to go to. That excitement quickly waned to like we almost got a standing ovation from other people in the establishment when we walked out.
Right.
But luckily, one of our favorite chicken joints was across the street.
Love that chicken from Popeyes.
And the people in Popeyes were great.
Right.
The two ladies we met, she was hilarious. Like she had me crying.
If I wasn't married, I would have been.
Yeah. She'd have snatched your ass up with a quickness.
Like a biscuit.
So that was it was the only not good choice.
And you know what? The food might have been bomb.
Yeah.
However,
we seen like a half a dozen people working there, but only one waitress.
Right. And we got seated. I mean, now granted, we know we have 15 people. There's going to be a wait. There's, what I mean? We're going to wait on our food, wait on, all that. Got that. We get that. However, we walk in, they sit us down immediately, and then we sat there for 45 minutes.
Yeah. No
and
drink
no
order.
drink orders, no, hey, we'll get with you in 1 second, no, and then you have some alpha females that they want to get up and go talk to people, and you're like, all right, have at it. Like,
And it wasn't until we were walking out when the waitress came by and said, "I'm sorry, I'm by myself."
right. And she's like, I'm gonna be with your table in a second. I'm like, no,
We got scheduled to keep.
yeah, like we understand it's gonna take hour and a half, 2 hours, maybe sometimes to eat at a sit down. We get that. Like we know that going in, but to sit there for 45 minutes and not be waited on, nah, we ain't having that.
So we go
So,
across the street and grab us some Popeyes.
and Popeyes served us quick, fast, in a hurry with that bomb ass fucking chicken.
Yes.
And man, yeah, it was good.
Love me some Popeyes.
That's the fuck. So yeah. So fast forward back up into
Yep.
Canada, but yeah, I had to mention
We stopped by that one place that had the composting toilets that were ungodly, horribly smelling.
it
Went
smelled like, I mean, yeah, it smelled like they were very disinfected. Very like somebody killed somebody in there and they're fucking trying to hide with uh ammonia.
and then we stopped at the and I do not know the proper way to pronounce it. I'm phonetically saying it, the Kakabeka Falls.
Yeah, Kakabeka Falls.
Yeah. That was pretty cool. We got a bunch of pictures there.
Yep.
Um, stopped at the birthplace of Winnie the Pooh
Right.
because my wife.
I mean, she has a way of guilting me into things.
She uses Jason against you a lot.
And then she has now here's my problem.
The beauty is she doesn't listen to our podcast, so
Right.
we can say
So
whatever we want
here's
about
my
her.
problem with Brandy Neighbor. She has a way of guilting me into things. And then when I do said things, she's like, "Oh, you didn't have to do that." Then shut the fuck up.
No.
Right.
See, you're used to being married to your wife,
Right.
who's very much like you.
Right.
I'm used to being married to my wife, who is very much not like any of
So
us.
she did the same thing at Bucky's
Uh-huh.
when we were going down to Virginia.
Uh-huh.
Oh, Jay would love to
Uh-huh.
go to Bucky's. I'm like, you're right, he would.
He would.
He most certainly would. So we're gonna get off the fucking exit 7 miles away after we just filled up here, and we're gonna go to Bucky's for Jay. And then we pull into the fucking parking lot. She gets off, and oh, you didn't have to do that. Yes, the fuck I did. Like, you know what I mean? Like, as soon as you make it known it's a priority for you, it now becomes a priority for me. I don't like that, Brandy Neighbor, but I will continue to do it under protest.
And as soon as I found out I was like, why the fuck are we stopping at Bucky's? We just got gas. And you're like, well, Brandy said, Jay. And I'm like, oh,
Right.
no.
Right.
God damn.
Yeah.
No, she's ridiculous.
Um,
I'm married to her. This October will be 24 years we've been married.
And
Trust me, I know.
we get to said Winnie the Pooh statue, and I like Becky Cooley, another participant in this trip. She was very proactive on she is a very sightsee person.
Yes.
Right? She loves the seaside. She loves to go,
Well, if she's going to be traveling across countries and stuff like that, she wants to please her eyeballs with seeing things
most
that
certainly.
you want to experience.
You ask yourself, who wants to see the biggest bowl of yarn in the world? If it's anywhere near where Becky Cooley's going, she wants to see it.
Yeah. And my wife's the same way.
Right. So when we stopped at the Wawa Goose, which I didn't want to stop at the Wawa Goose, right? And if we would have stayed on 17, we could have clearly saw the Wawa Goose from the road. Clearly.
Yeah.
But
by stopping, we also got to eat some really good food at the Wawa Goose Bar and Grill.
We did. And no one up there had Mountain Dew, which is another totally different subject I'll rant on in a minute. But
yeah, the Canadian A&W is very weird too.
Yeah,
because we got food there in Thunder Bay.
Right, but so yeah, So yeah, the Wall Goose, and then we're standing there at the Wall Goose, and then here's the other thing: we didn't get any like group photos,
until right before we left Canada.
right? Because of a fucking turnaround. Because GPS had us going on a muddy road, and I'm like, all right, this is a good spot to take a fucking group photo since we didn't take any group photos ever.
And it was slightly cockeyed.
Right. Um, but yeah, but that's when Brandy's like, are we going to the birthplace of Winnie the Pooh? And I'm like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? And and
And my wife is a Disney freak.
right. And my wife is a Mickey Mouse freak. That's it. Mickey Mouse. Nothing more, not Mickey Mouse. Like, and she gets wrapped up into, and then Becky's like, well, it was on that list of things I gave you. Like, there's 37 things, 37 fucking things on this sheet of paper you sent me. And I clearly, we're not doing them all, and we're all fucking grown adults. Why the fuck do we want to go see Winnie the Pooh? And it's like, well, three people here love fucking Disney. And my wife looks at me, she's like, they're counting me into that three, and I'm not one of them. And I'm like, you know what? Let me Google. I Google it. It's on the way anyways. So I'm like, all right, we're not getting off 17, going, 10 miles down the fucking road. So cool. We can do that.
Which ended up working out because Weather Becky kicked in.
Yes, we had to put our rain gear on. But when we stopped, right, it's a fucking statue of Winnie the Pooh and Piglet. I'm thinking it's right in front of a play fucking place, right? I'm thinking, I'm like, fuck, like you can see this at any fucking park, anywhere in the fucking world.
But it's the actual location. Come on, Steve.
So we stop, we pull around in the parking lot, we come, so I go deep in there, right? I'm thinking there's like fucking
More to it.
more to it. There's not. I pull around the parking lot. We're coming back out. I'm like, well, fuck, this is the only Winnie the Pooh thing, except for the little street signs they had. This is it. Get off, stop, get off the bike. And Brandy's like, oh, I got pictures from the road. We didn't have to stop. I'm like, motherfucker.
Welcome to my life.
Yeah, I got you. I feel for you,
Yeah.
brother.
Yeah, welcome. Now, when I said weather, Becky, a huge shout out to Becky Cooley.
Yep.
Her weather forecasting game was on point the whole trip.
She is a inspiring meteorologist.
Yes. So everybody be like, well, we think this. I'm like, look, when Weather Becky tells me it's going to rain, I'm going to believe it. The rest of you guys tell me it's going to be sunshine and Weather Becky says rain, I'm taking the Weather Becky because Weather Becky has not been wrong yet.
Yeah, and she don't want to be wet. So when in doubt, she's suiting up. That's straight up. So, but yeah, so we suit up there, we roll from there, and we got into some fucking weather.
Well, that was that storm that as we're going across, it's real straight and like you can see way out in the distance on the horizon. That sky was fucking pissed.
And
it was super pissed. And I'm like,
and then the wind tells you, hey, angry's coming.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
And because I seen it coming, I'm like, I hit the buttons on the GoPro. I'm like, we gonna get some footage of this shit.
I felt like, Helen Hunt, fucking
Twister reference. Yes.
I felt like, and I'm like what, like this is gonna get bad, and I'm talking to Chrissy in the mic. I'm like, this motherfucker looks angry, and we're riding fucking motorcycles through it. Cool.
And it was angry.
It was. And the wind, like I said, the wind met us first. And it started like, hey, I don't want you on the left side of the lane. I want you on It kept just pushing me. I was like, motherfucker. So I mean, but again, as we've said many times, um, you don't remember the 75 and clear and those days.
Yes, the trip was very memorable.
Oh, it was. It was.
See, it was, but at the time that we went there during this week, that was when Minnesota, Wisconsin, Canada was just getting fucking ass pounded with rain.
Yeah.
Like the wettest week of the year
Yeah.
so far. And that happened to be the week we decided to ride over there on
Yeah.
motorcycles.
Yeah.
So, Murphy's Law
So it had
and all
nothing
that.
to do with Scuba Steve and all that stuff.
I'm super proud of you. We did the whole trip and not one Steve tour.
Right.
And then I was kind of proud of my bike too, because we had one minor little stop on the side of the road in Michigan,
Yeah.
which wasn't really a breakdown. It was something got loose and pinned my brake or shut partly, but it was a quick 2-second fix, and
Right.
and that was it. I
Yeah.
mean, I was way better than last year's nationals.
Yeah. Nobody had to get on a trailer, so that's a win.
Super win.
And then so make it into Winnipeg. We stop at a Harley dealership.
Again, the
Um,
nicest salespeople I've ever met at a Harley dealership.
so let me tell you what happened. So I take Mother Discover with me. Canada don't like Mother Discover. I quickly learned that at pumps at what here. Let me back up a second. One of the gas stops we were at in Canada, I can't remember where the fuck we were. We roll up to the pump. It says we had learned that you can pay inside with the Discover card. You can't pay at the pump with it. So Chrissy gets off the bike. She goes in. She prepays. She comes out, and she's like 20 bucks. Like, cool. So I lift the handle, put it in. Please wait. Pick your octane. I hit 91. Please wait. Pick your octane. I hit 91. I hang the fucking hand, put it back. Anyways, Chrissy goes in and gets this guy and comes out, and he's like, and she's like, this is what we're doing. And he's like, I don't know. I don't pump gas here. What the fuck you mean, man? And anyways, so the fix was when because he puts fucking 85 or whatever the fuck in his car, that's what he prepaid it for. So I had to put 85 in my shit and not 91. Where in the States, if you prepay, you just go to the pump, pick whatever octane you want, but you're only getting 20 bucks from it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
the first gas station we used in Canada, when I had to pre-authorize an amount at the pump,
Right.
that fucked me up, man.
Right.
I'm like, what am I doing here? Yeah,
Yeah.
there was some learning curves on
Yeah.
the prepaying at pumps in
So,
Canada.
yeah. So go into Harley with the Discover card, and I needed fastens for my windshield, and they had them. I'm like, how many you have? He's like, I got 16. I'm like, give me 4 of each, the washer and everything. And it's not a T25 like Americans, it's a Phillips head, which is cool. I'm like, yeah, give me 4 of them motherfuckers, and I'll change them all out. And so I pay with the Discover card. It accepts my payment. He's like, hey, sign this. I sign it, boom. And his system wouldn't let him upload it. Like, it took my money, but it wouldn't give them my money, if that makes sense.
Well, it doesn't, but yes.
That's what happened. His system took my money, so the money is somewhere in fucking limbo, right? So he's like, give me a second. I'm like, all right. And he goes back and gets the guy in the back, like, so hey, where you coming? Hey, bro, he's talking. He's like, hey, we have a problem. I'm like, okay. He's like, do you have any other form of payments? I'm like, sure do. And he's like, okay, we're gonna put the money back on your card, and then you pay with the other card. Cool, I can do that. And it had nothing to do with the guy sitting behind it. It had nothing to do with him. And he's like, oh, so sorry, so sorry. And I'm like, what'd you do? He's like, oh no, it's the system. I'm like, okay, then what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, and so the manager guy, he puts it back on my Discover card, takes my Visa, swipes, and yeah, cool. And then he's like, hey, where you going? We told him, okay, have a good trip. And then before I walk away, he goes in the back, comes out with a keychain. He's like, here for your troubles. I'm like, ain't no fucking, there was no trouble. You know what I mean? I didn't raise no hell. You know what I mean? Like, no, I'm like, damn, did I raise my foot? You know what I mean? Then I have to start.
They were just good people.
They're just good people.
So,
So
man.
I'm doing like some inner reflection. Damn, was I yelling? Like, I don't think I was yelling. And he's like, here's a keychain. Sorry for the inconvenience. I'm like, was no inconvenience. But yeah, good people there. Good people.
Yeah, it was the first time I walked through a Harley showroom to head to a bathroom, and I didn't get accosted by 17 salespeople trying to sell me a brand new Harley.
Right.
So, funny story though happened in the bathrooms. You have set the standard that when we stop places, we get multiple stalls because you learned one time to not follow multiple neighbors into a shitter.
Facts.
Jason is the most notorious of the neighbors.
Facts.
So we got somebody's in the bathroom. I can't remember who. Then you got Bobby waiting, and then there's me and Jay comes up. Jay comes up to go in the women's bathroom. I'm like, dude, you can't go in there. You got to go in the men's bathroom. And he's like, well, I got shit really bad. I'm like, I got that, but you can't go in the women's bathroom. And Bobby's standing there waiting. And I can't remember who it was that came out of the bathroom. Jay jumped the line, jumped in there, and just destroyed that motherfucker. And, well, no, sorry, he was going to. And I said, no, let Bob. He's like, you let Bobby go pee first. So Bobby went in and pissed. Then Jay jumped in there and got it. Well, by that point, Loomis had come up, everybody else had come up, and I have to shit as well, but I'm having to hold it because my kid's got to shit worse than I do. And Jay comes out and he's like, usual Jay, rubbing his belly. Oh, I fucked that bathroom up. And I'm like, Loomis, you might want to go ahead. He goes, I'm not fucking going in after him. I'm like, bro, I'm gonna go in and fuck it up too. He's like, son of a bitch. So yeah.
Everybody needs to learn that. I mean, you can tell people.
Which Rich did.
Yeah, you can tell people, hey, listen, this happened to me one time. I had Dingster neighbor, Shawn neighbor, and Jason neighbor all going to, this. It's like a start of a bad joke. 3 neighbors walking to a shitter. You know what I mean? That's what ain't funny. The smell that comes from 3 neighbors,
3 generations of neighbor ass.
three generations of fucking intestinal problems, letting themselves go into some fucking porcelain. Just close your eyes and just, yeah, it's that plus something. So I'm like, all right, we're never stopping at a 1-stall fucking bathroom ever again, ever.
Which is why we traditionally stop at Love's or Pilots.
Yes. So by doing so, I started a collection of fucking skulls, right? Win-win. Yeah.
So before the trip, Rich told him, he said, look, you're going to be behind him. Jason is going to be absolute enjoyment to watch.
Right.
But don't ever follow him into the bathroom. And we get back and fucking Jim puts that thing on Facebook. Watching Jason dance in the sidecar warmed my heart. Following him into the bathroom quickly made that go away.
That's facts.
But the people at Harley gave Jay a coin
Right. Yeah.
A really nice one. It's got the 2024 Road Glide on one side, the Street Glide on the other side. It was really nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Very, very good people up there.
Yeah.
And then we stayed up there
Yep.
in Winnipeg.
It's a nice Holiday Inn.
It was
Nice parking garage.
the fucking um the
Poly grinder.
staff
Poly grinder.
the staff downstairs were phenomenal.
Yes.
You know, very heavy-handed. Again, I judge.
Well, they gave us a private area,
They did. They gave us a back room. We were allowed to get as loud as, and we did,
Yeah.
and as ruckus.
and not one time did they come in and tell us, hey, to be quiet or
Yeah,
anything like
no.
that. Our waitress server Parvinder, she was
She gave it as good as she got it.
oh yes, she did.
Um,
Even with a little bit of I don't want to say a language barrier because she spoke good English, but there was just a little bit, like certain things that she didn't quite catch on right
Right.
away at first.
Yes,
Um, the
Um,
American uh,
Indian.
slang
Yeah,
of what we were saying
yeah,
versus proper English, Canadian, Indian,
right,
not Native American Indian, but
yeah,
like Indian.
right.
But she was a trip. Food was good. You guys were definitely fans of the drinks.
Yes,
Um, fucking Andy couldn't understand her name. It was on the thing. He might have had a few too many, and it was Parvinder. And when she said it, he thought she said Polly Grinder because when she came back in, that's what he said to her. And you can tell she's used to people fucking up her name because she just rolled with it. But the rest of us had fun at his expense. And then everybody tried to charge their food to your room,
yeah,
but what originally wasn't your room.
yeah.
It was a good time though. She was great.
Right, and that was. I think that was the first time that we were able to let let the first couple days go.
Yeah, because there were such late nights getting in that we
Yeah,
all just was like, Fuck this," and we got into Winnipeg at a decent hour and
yeah,
was able to, you know, relax all together in one space.
yeah.
And
And there wasn't, because there wasn't a lot of sightseeing on that next day.
yeah, it was day
Um,
3,
yeah, the waterfall at what was it?
Kakabeka.
Kakabeka, yeah, Kakabeka Falls.
Yeah, I,
Um,
I I told Becky that was her new pooping spot, Kakabeka.
yeah. Um, I mean, it was pretty cool.
It was. It
And
was really cool. We got a lot of good
but
pictures,
you start out the day in wet weather gear. It's, I mean, fuck, man. It's it's one of those.
but it was nice to finish the day
We got accosted by some crazy woman outside of a hotel.
in Thunder Bay.
Well, Andy talked to her most of the morning because he's an early riser, and you know, and this chick wouldn't shut the fuck up. So
When I wrote, because we stayed at a different hotel, so when we came across the road to meet up with you guys there in Thunder Bay, that I thought she had a goatee, like a beard, and it turns out it was like some scab or sore or
yeah,
something.
yeah,
Like she's a hot mess,
yeah, and she
but she did take some pictures and some video of us, and
yeah, and had many premonitions. You know, oh, it's going to rain. You guys are going to die. Um, Traffic is horrible in Winnipeg. You're going to die. Uh, and luckily, none of that happened. I mean, so I'm like, God damn, woman, shut the
Jay
fuck.
smelled like he died.
I mean, yeah, he did. Um, but it's people like that you run across that you're like, wow, this is you know, can I come get in the picture with you guys? You're like, why? Like, no, like we don't
What bad juju, lady.
like we don't fucking know you. Um,
We need to throw a gremlin bell around your neck.
yeah. then after, so get up in Winnipeg and head south, right?
Yep. Through
Uh,
north, across the border at what was it called?
I don't know. Fucking.
But
But
it was right there in North Dakota.
going down, what was that road? 75 right there? No.
No.
Um, 85, something to the effect. I mean, it's a straight shot from Winnipeg down to the border.
Yep.
Straight shot down.
That it was.
And at some point, Hellhound turns left.
No, you're right. It was 75 in Canada
Right.
and turned into 29 once you got into North
That's
Dakota.
it. Okay. So we were on 75 headed south out of Winnipeg. And
Pembina was the place.
right.
That's
and
where the
then
border was.
yeah. So you look at the route and it's, fucking 40 miles straight shot, fucking straight down. And ultimately Hellhound turns left. So that immediately turns into a Steve tour.
We thought.
Well, you know what I mean? Like everybody, it's one of those, everybody's like, where are we going? All right. They look, put it on their phone. Yeah. Nice blue line. Fucking goes straight down. And then fucking Hellhound turning left. Oh, here we go. You know what I mean? And here, 75 South was being remodeled, and they turned 75 North into from a 2-lane into a 1-lane
in each direction.
And so my GPS is saying get off, go down 2 blocks, bang a right, and you're going to parallel 75 for 16 miles of the construction.
Because the GPS was having a coronary because 79 South didn't exist, or 75 South didn't exist.
And then so when I get to the right turn to head back south, it's a muddy road.
Gravelly road, yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not taking motorcycles on this, so we're gonna flip a bitch. And and then I pull into a parking lot that we can all fit in, so that I can fucking recalculate,
figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
It was a biblioteca.
And Bobby come up to me, he's like, why didn't we stay on 75? And I'm like,
because my GPS told me to, drill sergeant.
Right. Like, listen, bro. I'm like, I hit fucking go on this motherfucker. I go.
Well, and the beauty of it is we've talked before about your Steve tours and stuff like that. But we all know that with your brain, you set the GPS, you follow the GPS.
Right.
You can't give you, hey, go down 2 miles and turn here. Your brain is trained to follow GPS and ride.
Right.
Not follow GPS, ride, and then figure out what verbal instructions that I have for different directions.
Right.
So, I mean,
right. Now, all things being equal, if we would have got left off 75 and then went 2 blocks down, hung a right, and that's a paved road,
we just kept on trucking.
We kept trucking 16 miles, turn right, turn back left, get on 75. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was a detour because 75 South was fucking in some spots didn't exist.
Yeah.
At all. So again, I had my math ain't mathing moment, because I'm like, well, fuck, it has us now going across the other side. I'm like, fuck, man, I'm just getting on 75 and I'm going until it stops. Because I'm having this, I set mine to no tolls, no ferries, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, maybe there's a toll. Chrissy's like, well, maybe there's a toll on this road. And I'm like, well, I don't know. Because it's like, turn right. The whole time we're on that 1-lane road, it's like, turn right. Get back on route when possible. You know what I mean? And the whole time the blue line is to the right of us, where 75 South is that don't exist. And I was like, fuck me. And then, like in my brain, it clicks like, all right, there's a white dotted line so that tells you it's it's a 2-lane road. We're just going south in it. And I know, in hindsight, everybody's like, duh, motherfucker. I get it. Sometimes the hamster takes a smoke break. Fucking,
Like Loomis had asked me a couple of times. I'm like, look, bro, here's what you got to understand. When I do chapter rides, Steve leads, I follow. Where that takes me, I don't care about. The only thing I care about is distance to next fuel stop because I usually run low on fuel,
right.
which I got amazing gas mileage that whole trip.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yep.
But that's it. Other than that, I don't give a fuck how long it takes. I don't care what time we're supposed to be there. I just follow along.
Yeah.
I don't care about the route. Nothing.
Right. And so, we were able to get down to the customs, United States Customs down in North Dakota. And again,
That took a little longer than coming across.
but there was more cars.
Oh yeah,
That's the only reason
Yep.
it took longer. More cars. There was cars in front of us. It was backed up.
Yep.
More. Is there any surprise that there's more people trying to get into the United States than leave the United States? Not in my book. You know what I mean? America. Happy 4th of July. But yeah. So
which is tomorrow.
Yes, it is tomorrow.
It'll be yesterday when you guys watch this.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, so that's what took longer, and then the questions were the same.
Yeah. We didn't have to make a U-Haul detour.
The guy's like, "Where you come from? Ohio?" And he's like, I'm like, "Hey, we're with the Combat, Vets Motorcycle Association, and we're going to Minneapolis." Rochester for our national meeting. And it's like, that don't make more sense.
Yeah. Math ain't math.
That don't make more sense. That makes less sense.
When we got up there, he's like, where are you coming from? And Brandy goes, Winnipeg. I was like, well, Ohio via Winnipeg. And he's like, what?
Yeah. Right. So, yeah. So he's like, well, have a nice day. I'm like, and then I get in. I was like, motherfucker. I could have smuggled a gun. Is that the right answer? No.
You would have been an international arms smuggler.
Yeah.
Put that on your resume.
Right. But if I would have carried it, they would have checked my bike.
There would have been like a dozen times where it would have been ugly and bad.
Right. So, it's always better, to take the hard right over the easy wrong. You know what I mean? And everybody was safer because of it. We never had any safety issue at any point that I'm like, oh fuck, I wish I had. No, never.
And for those that don't know, no one else in the group still knows about the pistol.
No,
we didn't find out about it until.
Oh, you mean at the time?
Yeah,
yeah. I thought you meant now.
No. At this point in the trip, nobody knows about the pistol.
Nobody knows about the pistol.
Yeah,
yeah.
It wasn't until right before we got ready to leave that we learned about it.
And I only made, and we'll get to that in a minute, but I only made that decision right before we left.
Right.
Yeah.
So we go down through Fargo.
Yep.
Make our way into Rochester, and that's a long day. We got in late.
Yeah, it was a long day.
The trips peeled off to their hotel or Airbnb.
Right.
Haynes peeled off to theirs, which was right around the corner from ours.
Them and the Coolies.
Yep. And then we went to the one that you plan the trips out.
Uh-huh.
You pick the hotels and the food spots.
Right.
You don't do it based on your personal points or anything like that.
Right.
You pick one that's centrally located that gives a good rate so that everybody can try to be together and not pay an arm and a leg.
Facts.
Right.
And for this particular one, since we were staying multiple days, I wanted to. I like in those situations. I like extended stay places.
So you have a
You got a
fridge and
kitchenette. You got a full fridge. You got a
yeah.
things of that nature. So that was the thought process behind that.
So we get there, everybody's going in to check in. I have a fucking brain dump. I'm sitting out on the bike with Jay, but I don't turn everything off.
Right.
It ends up taking longer because there was confusion, chaos.
Well,
Reservation was jacked up. Our room got canceled. Yeah, it was a nightmare.
there was well, yeah, because there was confusion when we walked in because old boy behind the counter, he was on the phone handling a dispute with someone on the phone that just kept saying the same things over and over again, which I can only assume because I didn't hear the person on the phone was saying the same things over,
He was a really nice guy the whole time we were there,
right,
but you could definitely tell he was short of a couple of colors in his crayon box.
right. Um, and yeah. So I tried to lighten the mood and and was able to check in real quick. I walked out and I told you, I said, your wife is not gonna like this place. And no sooner does I get that out of my mouth, she comes storming out.
Oh yeah.
She comes storming out. Um,
There's a reason she's short or there's a reason she gets really angry. It's because she's short, which means she's closer to hell.
yeah. And yeah. Dynamite, my mom says dynamite comes in small packages.
Yeah.
And
So does
I'm like,
tactical Play-Doh.
dynamite don't come in packages. It's a stick. But anyway,
But
little
you can
little
get
engineer humor there.
you can get tactical Play-Doh in a small package.
Right. But yeah, I mean, so I'm like, Brandy ain't gonna like this place. Cause again, I know Brandy. I've stayed with her in enough places, but I don't like it's like the place up in Thunder Bay that I had. I'm like, hey, we're gonna stay here, and then Becky Cooley did her research, and it has 5-star reviews on this is a piece of shit. 5-star. You know what I mean? If you want your tires taken off your vehicle in the parking lot, 5 stars. You know what I mean? If if you want your belongings stolen, 5 stars. I don't look at that. You know what I mean? Like
This is not a knock on Becky or Brandy or anything like that. But most of us have stayed in atrociously bad accommodations at the behest of Uncle Sam, so we tolerate a lot.
right, and
They did not.
and it's one of those things where at that point, all I want to do is get fucking horizontal.
Yeah, it was a
And
long
close my,
day. Yes.
all I want to do is get
It was late
horizontal,
when we
close my
got in.
eyes. And but we changed that. The one in Thunder Bay we changed prior to getting there.
Yes.
And like we said, the place in Thunder Bay was great.
Yeah.
And the mainstay inns and suites
In
in
Rochester.
Rochester. I mean, I personally didn't have a problem with.
Well, no, it wasn't bad. But what I also learned being there is that a lot of the people that stay in that hotel are either like construction workers that are working up there, or they're patients at the Mayo Clinic,
Right.
which people were great.
Yeah, yeah.
They were
yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
There was just a lot of room confusion.
And some demographics, they rent a mainstay suite that can hold 4 people, and they put 26 people in because that's how many people they had in their vehicle when they showed up.
Yeah. And they have a
Mariachi band. You know what I mean?
So they gave away our room because of confusion. So all they had for us was a regular queen room.
Right.
You guys had a king suite with a sofa.
We did. Because that's how I roll.
Right. Well, that's what I had originally got to, and there was chaos and anarchy. So you guys, again, Brandy said you're the winner, savior of the day. I can't remember how she worded it, but you guys gave us your room and you took our room
Right.
so that we had a place for Jay,
Absolutely.
which worked out great. We could have.
And your room was big as fuck. I didn't need we didn't need all that fucking space.
Now, we found out later that night by going through some things that we could move to a double queen room that's handicap only. And so they didn't know, they didn't quite understand some things. But when we wanted to move and give you back your king room, and by that point, you and Chrissy were like, fuck all that
Oh,
noise.
once yeah, bro. Once my suitcase. I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
And you and Chrissy do well in a queen size bed
yeah.
because you guys like to touch
Spoon, spoon.
and yeah,
Yeah,
you like touching at night.
yeah.
Um, my wife does not want to touch at night at all.
I mean,
Uh, you know,
I'd get a new
we're at,
fucking wife, but
we're at that point
that's
in our
just me.
marriage where we don't have to touch each other at night, So
I mean, again, 2 years, 25 years.
yeah, yeah. But now, so we were good after that. The sergeant major, on the other hand,
Yeah,
his girlfriend is a tad bougie as well. And,
we call her highfalutin.
yeah, and their room smelled, and I quote, like a goddamn dead body. And there was a mariachi band playing all fucking night. So the next day, they packed up and moved hotels to where the coolies and the Hanes were.
Yeah, and I paid that mariachi band for the week, so I got some money back. So no, no, Mister, no, Mister.
But so there we go. Lodging was set then at that point. We didn't really have any problems after that.
Right. I mean, you know, now what it did do is made evening gatherings,
Not difficult, but inconvenient.
yeah, because of, you know, um, especially when there was nights of weather, you know, whether you want to go or not. But no, there, when the weather came in, now you're like, do I actually want to get on my bike and ride a mile and a half, get soaking fucking wet, to sit there and fucking drink and tell the same stories we tell fucking all the time? And the answer is yes, and we did. And
But my wife was getting everybody $8 Ubers
I mean,
from one hotel to the other,
yeah,
and it worked out great.
it most certainly did. And you know, I didn't mind jamming myself into fucking small compact SUVs.
You had a much better go of it than I did because when we went to the movies, that bitch put me in a Kia Soul.
Yeah. See, I mean,
But the Uber driver, she was awesome, super awesome. With her Kia Soul's purple. I opened the door. She's got like purple seat covers, but they've got like an African princess on them, and the carpet's like a pleated purple. I'm like, your car is so amazing. I don't want to step on. She's like, honey, don't worry about it. Get on in here. And she was great. Absolutely a fucking treat to drive us back over to the hotel. But yeah, it was
but yeah,
a lot of
so
Uber fun.
we did Uber. Because coming back from our meeting, national meeting, um, we stopped and ate because Becky Cooley wanted steak. Um, and so we stopped at Outback. It's not what I normally do because we have Outback here, and you know why I go to exotic places like Rochester, Minnesota, and eat at a fucking Outback Steakhouse. However, all the other 5-star, very high review steakhouses were in walking distance of where we were. You know what I mean? It was all downtown.
Where the meeting was, not where we were staying.
Yeah, where the meeting was, where we previously were at the meeting. And, you know, we are not a high capacity walking group. And we'll tell you about the fucking cave we walked in. But we're not a high capacity walking group. We're, you know, most of us, it's some form or fashion, are disabled.
Yep. Or
Um,
overweight or both.
or both, yes. And
I am both.
so, you know,
Well, that and there's thousands of our members in that downtown area.
yeah. So
They're going to be
the
at
farther
capacity.
and how we go about things in our small group is like we like to be farther away from the flagpole.
Yeah.
Not because of
We want to be away from everybody. It's because we know we get better. Um, with a 15-person group, you're not waiting as long
right.
if you're with everybody
Absolutely.
else.
And like some people need to be in where everything's going on. I don't where we are together, everything's going on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that in
We bring our party with us.
with us, our party travels exactly. Um, so coming back from we stayed at Outback probably 8 minutes too long.
Well, I told the wife, because we didn't have our rain gear with us. I told her, I said, you get the check. I'm going to run out, get Jay loaded up, get his helmet on him, get the bike. I'm going to pull up. And then the lady took forever to get the checks.
Yeah,
And
yeah, and yeah, about 8 minutes. Like we were a mile from the hotel when we got pelted.
Yeah.
With fucking hail.
Oh, you guys caught up to me quick.
Yeah.
Because I got stuck in all that traffic. Because when you guys came out, the traffic had kind of waned out.
Shit, I was fucking speed limit be damned. I was,
and we got fucking wet.
Yeah. Wet was fine. I mean, but that fucking hail hurt like a motherfucker, and that's
it hailed on us in Colorado.
That's what I was.
Oh.
And I told Duke, I told Andy when we were pulling out of fucking Outback, I'm like, if it fucking hails on us, this might be my last fucking national. Because goddamn, man,
it hailed on us. But guess what? You're still going to Georgia next year.
Yeah. But
nothing else we got to see Aunt Polly.
But that's too fucking not at nationals. It's after the meeting of nationals we get hailed on in two different cities.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. It was after the national meeting because we picked up Chrissy because you were meeting one of your guys.
Yeah. That we saw again.
Yep.
Old Chuck.
Yep.
Chuck Lanning.
He recognized me. I got recognized.
You got recognized from this podcast.
He comes up to me. He's like, "Hey, you the guy that does a podcast with Vickers?" I'm like, "Yep." He goes, "I recognize you from the video." He said, "Tell him Chuck found you." I'm like, "Will do."
Yeah. So got the and that's what's great about that meeting. That Lanning's out in South Dakota, and I'm here in Ohio, and we served together in 2005, and we get to reconnect, and I'm trying to get him to ride down here next year and ride with us, him and his crew. That'd be fucking cool, I think.
Yeah, it would.
Whoever rides with him to nationals, the South Dakota, because that's what we do. Normally, that's what we do with New Mexico, because brother Double T out in New Mexico. Normally, we link up with him at nationals. He had a motorcycle accident out in New Mexico prior to nationals, so he didn't make it out there, and we wish him a speedy recovery.
Yeah. That's all. This is my third nationals. But in Louisville, we met up and rode with them, had dinner with them. Leaving out of Colorado, we rode out of Colorado into New Mexico with them. They're such a great group.
It is, and that's what it's about.
Yeah.
When you can link up with people from other states and fucking sit down and have a conversation, and it's like you guys are brothers,
right?
We sisters.
You have a shared common experience.
Yeah.
But You don't know the motherfucker from Adam, but while you're sitting there breaking bread, you're still fucking with him just like you would anybody else.
Hell yeah, and it's
That's the beauty of our
yep.
community.
And so we wasn't able to link up with New Mexico this year. But yeah, I'm like, man, if we can get South Dakota, um, some boys up in South Dakota to come ride down here, and then us all ride down to man, that'd be great.
We met up with Pup again for a little bit.
Yep, met up with Pup. Um, he may or may not come back to Ohio, and we did that with them. Where were them boys at? We were in Texas. We were at that Burger King.
They
Up.
were,
We linked up with them boys.
I think they were Oklahoma City.
Yeah, and we're just
because they were at the gas station when we had the
old girl.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and they thought it was me.
Yeah.
Because everybody thinks me and you are brothers.
Yeah.
Which we haven't got much of that this year.
No.
But yeah, so held on. Yeah, I mean, so now I get to planning, and I already had the route home.
Well, we forgot some stuff.
Oh,
so we start about.
All right,
we have to talk about Niagara Cave.
Oh yeah.
Because first of all, I asked the question beforehand: is the cave fat guy friendly? Because I know that there are certain caves that people of my girth do not fit in.
Right.
So I asked, and they're like, yeah, you should be good. And while I did not technically get stuck anywhere, there was a couple of places that I had to think skinny and I was still rubbing. So, I mean,
right. I mean, it was Niagara Caves.
We learned a lot. Our tour guide was very knowledgeable.
Oh, she was,
especially for a high school student.
She was fucking spot on.
Yes.
And it's nice to see, it's refreshing to see someone take their job seriously.
Yeah, she was just finishing her junior year of high school, getting ready to start her senior year of high school.
Yep.
And very interested in the topic.
Yep.
She really put a lot of effort into it. You can tell she genuinely enjoys what she does.
Yep. Very well spoken, very very like you said, knowledgeable, like
polite, considerate.
And it wasn't a matter of, hey, it's a cave because it's a cave. You know?
Yeah, she told us a lot of history about the cave, why it was called Niagara Cave.
Yep.
You know, it's 200 feet below the surface. Here's the parts that start to suck. Okay. It's 275 fucking steps down.
Yeah.
In various configurations, because, you know, they haven't really done any man-made changes to the cave. It's mostly just been cleaning out mud and debris so you can walk it.
Right.
But then you have to go 275 fucking steps up to get out of the cave.
Right.
And it's like a mile in and a mile out.
Yeah.
I'm not built for that. I am one of those non-high capacity walking motherfuckers. So, no. So, I thoroughly enjoyed the cave for, you know, I had the camera running a lot. The story, the information, the optics of it, you know, looking and all that. But I almost died coming out because there's a lot of motherfucking steps, and I'm not built for that. We start at the bottom, right? Fucking Andy and Stacy are in front of us.
Yeah.
I climb up a couple of steps and round a corner, and they are gone. Like, I cannot see them at all.
Yeah.
And it was just like a minute into the thing.
Well,
I'm like, motherfucker.
They also work out every day.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think
they're
I'm pretty sure they're the only two people on that trip that work out every day.
Yeah. So it was rough. So when we got out, I said the cave was cool, but whoever picked this, you can go fuck yourself.
Yeah. And you can tell.
And the immediate response I got was from Becky Cooley, you didn't have to fucking come.
Right.
And she's right, I didn't.
And yeah, and I made the comment that an able-bodied person picked this. Like, you have a group of disabled veterans One with a leg, one without a leg, and then
Yeah.
uh,
And because Chrissy's recent health issues,
yeah, yeah,
it hit her hard.
yeah. It did hit her hard, and I'm like, baby, I'll carry you out of here, and she's like, no, and I'm like, all right,
But my fat ass made it out.
yeah. I mean,
The only the,
I enjoyed it. Um, I like being anywhere where it's 55
oh
degrees
my
and
god,
fucking, and I'm still sweating.
yeah. The temperature was nice. Humidity
I mean,
sucked a little bit,
yeah,
but I don't think if I was fat and like borderline cripple, I would have been sweating as much.
right.
Although wearing our vest down in there probably not the best idea.
Stupid,
Yeah,
really stupid.
but you're just used to having it on,
Yeah,
and
that was stupid. Um, but yeah, I mean, um, yeah, I didn't. The tour was great. It was very, I've been to several different caverns and things. They all look the same, um,
but like
but different.
she explained the three different levels
Oh
of
yeah, yeah,
sandstone you
yeah,
saw. Like it was or limestone.
yeah,
It was pretty neat.
yeah.
I mean, I got to give her
Um,
props for that one. It wasn't very expensive.
no, I mean, if the only if the only downside is I don't like doing this because I'm fat, that says more about us than it does about the
Yeah, no, 100%. I did,
it
I
says more about us than it does.
the actual cave was really
Yeah, yeah,
cool. The
yeah.
tour was really cool.
Right.
The part that sucked about it for me was the physical
Yeah.
impact it had on getting my fat ass out of it.
Right.
Like gravity helped me going down, and then it was a hindrance coming out. I only wanted to do one thing while we were out there, but because of the weather and how late we got in the week, we didn't actually get to do it. So the next time I'm out that way, I want to be able to make sure I do that.
What was that?
The ride from uh La Crescent to Red Wing along the Mississippi
Oh yeah,
River.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
What weather, man? It just
yeah,
it fucked us hard because we got in late on Wednesday.
yeah,
Thursday was our only nice day. We did the cave and a couple other little things, and then the day was gone. And then Friday it was fucking raining. Saturday it was raining, and Sunday we were leaving.
yeah. Yep. And then
But I mean, there was so much water that
we
hit
got we got
Minnesota.
to went to a veteran owned distillery out there. So you may see that bottle come up here. Um, pretty cool. Pretty cool little story on how they started, and the owner wasn't there, of course, but um, you know, it's one of those things where you know eh, you keep going into distilleries thinking, "God damn, I can do this," and maybe one day, we will. Who knows? But um, I think it's a matter of just pulling the fucking trigger and fucking um, yeah. Anyway, but it was nice little spot. Um, the hostess there was very polite and um, you know very welcoming to questions and gave us free samples and we bought drinks there that were very good and then we ended up picking up some bottles. So
The speaking of drinks, that bottle of whiskey one of you guys got in Canada, you all were a big fan of.
yeah, Canadians are known to be drinkers. So you get a little more alcohol content in their stuff up there. So that stuff we had at dinner that night, it went down.
Speaking of
And
Canadian drinks, though, you kind of glazed over it. Why don't you drink Mountain Dew in Canada?
oh yeah, yeah. So
Now,
so
Steve is a connoisseur of Mountain Dew.
yeah, I've been drinking Mountain Dew for as long as I think I had it in a baby bottle at some point. I'm pretty sure.
Because
Uh
it tickles your innards.
it does. Um um but I've been drinking Mountain Dew for as long as I can remember and you know um it pissed me off in Iraq because during the invasion I find myself in a spot and there's a can of Mountain Dew there and I'm like it's not open. I don't care if it has anthrax in it or not. I'm fucking killing this thing. I did, and it tasted fucking horrible. And I was like, what the fuck? No wonder you have people invading your country. Your Mountain Dew sucks.
That's what it is.
Right. That's what it is. And see, this is why people need to
Hey,
get Saddam Hussein the fuck up out of here.
Pepsi brought the wall down and put Gorbachev in a commercial. Mountain Dew forced us to invade Iraq.
There you go. Facts. Uh,
Building bridges and burning them down.
so, yeah, Mountain Dew in Canada didn't taste right to me. So you know, then you start thinking. Now, looks exactly the same. The Iraqi can of Mountain Dew has the little squiggly lines on. You know what I mean? It's in that damn. No, it don't look the same. Like, you know, it has the symbol. It doesn't say. You know. Anyway, Canadian bottle of Mountain Dew looks exactly the same as an American bottle of Mountain Dew. But it's not.
Same, but different.
Same, but different. So, um, you know, American Mountain Dew, it's fucking horrible for you. Horrible for your body, horrible for your teeth, horrible for, you know, just horrible for you. And um, like I have a big 32-ounce cup I keep on my bike
Yep.
that I drink in between gas stops because that's what I do. And you know, if it spills out onto my gas tank, it sticks to my gas tank because it's sticky. Well, um, Stacy was kind enough to run over to the gas station that you were out at Winnie the Pooh and buy me a Mountain Dew because I damn near or went off the fucking road because of boredom, sheer fucking boredom. And I'm so like I will put a 20-ounce Mountain Dew um, in my 32-ounce cup, and then I will drink. I will take a drink like every 20 miles, and that's how I get myself through. You know what I mean? Every 20 miles, boom, I'll take a swig, and I'm back at it. And it gives me a little, hey, wait, hey, how you doing? And well, didn't have any Mountain Dew on this leg of the trip. It's fucking raining on us. It's fucking same scenery, and I damn near flatline, and my bike goes from the left side all the way over to the right side, and damn near off the right side of the road because I'm falling the fuck asleep. So we stop at the Wawa Goose, and we eat. That always helps for eating. Always helps for sleep. You know, when you feel groggy, eat some more. I I'm like, I'm going across the street to the gas station to get a Mountain Dew. They don't have any. And I'm like, what the fuck? I didn't think Canada was communist, but apparently they don't have Mountain Dew, so they are. And um, so you know, then we have the discussion about Winnie the Pooh. All right, we're stopping at Winnie the Pooh, and then Stacy, who does not like to listen to me talk, apparently, I heard, um, took it upon herself to say, I will run over to the gas station because I didn't get my steps in today. And she is said person that ran out of the fucking cave of 270 steps. Um, and she brings back a Mountain Dew. Well, as you say, we're putting our gear on, the wind picks up, the Mountain Dew falls over, it spills on to my fairing and my lower fairing. And once it dried, it was gone. And I'm like, haha, there's something there, right? It's not me. This is different. So
There's
then
something there because something's not there.
something is not there. So I did a quick Google search of the difference between American Mountain Dew and Canadian Mountain Dew, and orange juice concentrate is missing in Canadian Mountain Dew. So there's that. Mark, a lot of reviews online think that Canadian Mountain Dew is better. which it probably is a lot better for you. That's why I don't like it. Like, I don't care how good something is. As soon as it says gluten free, I have no idea what gluten is, but because people of the fit ilk think gluten is a bad thing, I kind of like it.
Yeah. We grew up on gluten.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck, we grew up with asbestos. Why is it no good for you?
Right. So, if it says fat free, fuck that. Fuck that. Um, but yeah,
So Andy comes up to me the day before we're supposed to leave, the day of the meeting. He's
uh,
like, hey, Steve's not going to be riding back with us. He's got to take a detour. He goes, I think they're taking like a little mini vacay or something going up through Michigan. And I'm like, oh, so I didn't know. So then I make the joke because my wife likes to invite her to things that you guys do
herself, yeah.
herself. Yes.
Mhm.
So I make the joke, you didn't tell me because you didn't want me to tell my wife so that she couldn't invite herself on your little trip. And that is when we learned about the detour you had to take back up to UP to be able to pick up your pistol.
Yes. And, again, um, I had the moments of, well, I'll make something up. I'll say, hey, we gotta, um, but I don't like to lie to you guys. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like to be untruthful. And you know, in our group, we kind of doing dumb shit and fucking, we're all pretty open, pretty transparent on the dumb shit we
Yeah.
do. Even when we don't do our dumb shit in front of each other, we then tell each other so each other can fucking rag on us to fucking no end.
So, like, we were at the Niagara Cave and that other chapter was there coming in after us, and the dude had the patch on that said the Poo Crew.
Yeah.
And he was very interested into why I said that we have members that should have the Poo Crew patch. So I shared said story.
Right.
And then to bring that around, the day we were going in to the national meeting to the store and stuff, for the day Andy had his meeting when the ladies were at theirs, you're like, I gotta go make sit down, and you're trucking across the parking lot, and you stop, and I'm like, bro, are you okay? And you're
Yeah.
like, I'm trying not to shit myself because I don't want to be a national statistic.
Right. Facts. That's facts. And I knew we were going to be there for a while, and who wants to sit and shit all day? You know what I mean? Because, yeah, I mean,
So
yeah,
again, we only have two statistical
right.
national meeting shitters
Yeah.
themselves.
Yeah. And so, yeah. So, like, then now because it's my mistake, um, I don't want to force Chrissy to have to do any more miles than she would. Now, my wife's the type of person, if I say, hey, we're going to walk through hell with Ice Cube shoes, she's like, cool.
I need a size 8.
Right. You know what I mean? Like, I tell her all the time, you are my voice of reason. When I want to do something dumb, you're the one that should say no. But, if I wake her up at 2 in the morning and say, hey, we're going to go on a 400-mile ride at 6 a.m., she says, okay, make sure you set the alarm. You know what I mean?
She is 100% your ride or die.
Yes. Yeah, she is my ride and then keep riding. Jesus Christ. But yeah, so I'm like, hey, um, so we'll ride back, whatever. But because I take my responsibility as road captain seriously, and I don't, I want to start what I finish, all that stuff. So I have all that on me, and I'm like, okay, so I'll ride home. I'll fucking on a random fucking Thursday, I'll just ride up here in my truck, and well, it'll probably be on my bike. That's how I roll. But I'll just roll up here, I'll pick up the thing, roll home, too easy. And then the only person suffering that is me. And that would be another 1,000 fucking miles, 1,000+ miles up there. So then I get to looking and I'm like, well, if we rode from Rochester, Minnesota up to Sault Ste. Marie and then back down to it's 1,100 miles and you guys were doing a little short of 800 miles. So it was like 300+ miles more. So, I look at her and I'm like, what you want to do? And she's like, I'll spend 2 days with you alone. And I'm like, all right. You know what I mean? And, and then I'm like, hey, if we go back to Sault Ste. Marie, I'll get you a fucking whirlpool tub. And she was in, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that. Um, and then I was like, well, if we do it this way, we can probably get home right around the time you guys get home because our stops will be shorter or fucking, we can go longer distance without stopping, go faster, all the things that people can do by themselves that they can't do in a group of 9 bikes. And um, and I was 100% ready to tell Andy exactly what happened if he asked, and he didn't ask, so I didn't tell him. I'm like, all right, cool. Um, and but yeah, when you said that, I was like, nope, that ain't the why. This is the why. I'm fucking
But it
done.
was a good why though.
Oh, I mean,
I fucked with the wife with it.
yeah, yeah. I mean, um, yeah, but I wouldn't. It's not in me to um leave the group on like an unplanned. Like last year, you guys were gonna was that call? Yeah, that was Colorado. You guys were gonna take a different route home. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? But prior to leaving, you're like, hey, we're gonna take 5 extra days, and we're gonna do. Yep, makes sense. You're out there. You want to go. That makes sense. The day before we're leaving, when you're the guy leading the. You
Yeah.
know,
You've got the route planned.
yeah, and
Um,
and
luckily, Andy likes to have the same route you do. So, like, if it was something where you were getting ready to, you couldn't lead and I had to do it, I'd be fucked because, like I said, I just follow along.
right. Right. So, and then, but yeah, and we were able to, um, we got up that Sunday morning. Speaking of which, let's back up. We went and saw the bike riders.
Yes,
We we no one really has talked about that movie since.
I liked it,
It was
but I know the story of what that movie was based on,
right.
and I am very much into old MC culture and
Yeah, yeah,
history.
yeah.
So to me, plus it was a well acted, good movie, but you had to understand. Some people think that when it's based on a true story,
Right.
there there wasn't a whole lot that was truly based on the real story. There was just concepts that were similar, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah, right. Like names have been changed to protect.
More like most of the names were the same. It was the name of the club that was
Right.
changed, and
Right.
and and the book that it was based off of was more of a
Because old boy, the red guy with the fucked up grill, the red beard, he
yeah,
came from
funny
California.
sunny.
Funny Sonny. He was a Hell's Angel,
Yes,
but he wasn't a Hell's Angel in the movie.
right. Like the club in the movie was called the Vandals, but it's actually based on the Outlaws out of Chicago.
Okay, all right.
Um,
But yeah, I mean, yeah, and I
'cause
think the ending left some for like a second a sequel.
yeah, so the book that it's based off of was a guy spent some time with the Outlaws, took a lot of pictures
Right.
with them. The book's more of his artistic portrayal of the photos.
Right.
He was actually an outlaw for a while too when he was in the middle of doing that. Um, like if little tidbits of knowledge. The patch that was on the Vandals vest that was kind of like triangular shaped and had a V and an
Right.
O. So that's a throwback to the old Outlaw patch that was an O and an A and an A. It wasn't the same, but for us MC dorks that like to know that culture, I was able to recognize that patch and stuff like
Cool,
that.
cool.
But yeah,
Yeah, I mean, you know,
it's a good movie. It was an
it
enjoyable
was,
movie.
yeah,
It did a good job of showing cultural shift in the MC culture
yeah, as
between
it,
around the 60s and 70s. Um, you know, Johnny started the club to just hang out with his buddies and when the one guy's like, "Why do you want to start a riding club?" All those guys do is sit around and talk about motorcycles, and he's like, "Well, that's all we fucking do."
right,
So, and then the toll that expansion took on him,
yeah,
and then the the spirit of what he started, how it was um, twisted and crushed and changed at the end when the new mindset of
right,
guys came into the
right,
chapters.
yeah.
Like I said, as an
And
MC,
I think the character at the end who becomes the president,
yes,
I liked how they just sprinkled his maceration in there as it went.
yeah,
I like,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Cinematically, it was done very well. It was acted really well. Tom Hardy did a great job. The dude that played Benny, he was
yeah,
also the one that played Elvis in that movie.
yep,
He's a great actor,
yeah.
and my wife was
He plays in Masters of the Sky. Is that it? Masters of the Sky. Um, y- yeah,
when
I'm pretty sure.
the scene where she's talking about coming into the bar that first time and he's leaning over the pool table. She's like, "Why don't you ever lean over a pool table like that?" I'm like, "Well, for
It
starters,
ain't gonna fucking look like
yeah, for starters, it ain't gonna look like that. He's a very, very attractive man, and I'm anything but."
that. Yeah,
Yeah,
he ain't.
she did. She leaned over. She's like, "Why don't you lean over a pool table like that?" I'm like, "Are you fucking high?" Like, God, I didn't want to go to the movies. I'm not a movie goer. Um, but I went. I enjoyed it. Jay enjoyed it. He was telling
Right.
everybody he was Johnny afterwards because
Mm,
Tom Hardy's also
yep.
Eddie Brock and Venom. So Jay puts two and two together,
Oh,
and
he's it. He
yeah.
knows.
So,
Um,
but it was a good
yeah,
movie.
no, I mean, nobody really talked about it, and then we left.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys might have talked about it on the way home, but
Um, Brandy really wasn't. She didn't enjoy it, but it's really not her bag. Like
I mean,
throw a fucking generic Hallmark plot movie in or Hallmark movie plot in it, and she'd be all over it like white on rice on a paper plate in a snowstorm. But no,
yeah, like me and Chrissy, we watch dumb fucking movies all the time. So watching one that's not so dumb,
I told Dad about it, but very little because he really, really wants to watch it.
yeah,
Because again,
yeah,
MC nerd,
yeah,
we really like that old culture and stuff. Dad brought me up in a world where
right,
that was revered and,
yeah.
and stuff. So,
I
um,
get it. I get it.
yeah,
We watched off topic. We watched one. It has Owen Wilson. He plays like a. It's Bob Ross, man.
yes, I've seen it. Yeah,
It's dumb as fuck.
it's the Bob Ross movie. Yeah,
Yeah, it's dumb as fuck. It's fucking dumb as fuck. We watched that the other night, and every now and then, Chris will like, "We're still gonna watch this." I'm like, "Yep," and we did.
I mean, if you want a good uh, Owen Wilson movie, you got to go with Drillbit Taylor.
But yeah, so made it back home. 3,000 plus miles
Yeah.
for everybody.
Yeah, because you guys went up through the UP
Yep,
and Andy led us. Um, we got it once we got into Iowa. It was great weather. Went into Iowa, Illinois, Indiana. Stayed the night on the west side of
yep,
Indianapolis. Nobody wanted to fuck with early morning Indianapolis traffic on a Monday morning, so we left a little bit later.
yep.
The
And
trips bounced out early because they wanted to get home early. Joni was having some eye problems and stuff like that. So they made it home safe. We busted through Indianapolis. Uh, Jason. So he falls asleep in the sidecar. and I don't, you just don't know he's there. I look over, I check on him as he's sleeping. Brandy's half asleep in the back. I'm cruising along, and the next thing I know, the fucking bike is all over the place. Like I thought the tire broke a belt or something, and we're everywhere. And I look over, and this motherfucker's over there bouncing and dancing and just sending me all over the goddamn highway. So, but yeah, we got home. Everybody got home Monday. Um, Great time. Everybody made it home safe.
Yeah.
No Steve tours. One minor stop on the side of the road. Over all in all, even with the go fuck yourself speed limit in Canada, the trip was great. It was amazing.
Yeah.
We're international.
Yeah.
Another nationals under the book. Um, Minnesota, Iowa, North Dakota, states I hadn't rode in yet. So now I got 3 more states under my belt.
And that's what it's about. And then you get home, and then on our communication, on Facebook, you got people fucking shitting on Minnesota.
They can't control the weather.
Yeah, and here's my note on that. If you want others to plan your fucking vacation for you, then then you're going to be disappointed every fucking time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We have 2 things that, well, 3. We all know we're going to hit the national store and the vendors at least once.
Yep.
We have to go to the national meeting.
Yep.
And then whoever our commander and XO are, they have to go to a 2-up meeting, and the Ox has a meet and greet.
That's it.
That's the only thing that quote unquote nationals that we have planned for us. Everything else we do the weekend nationals is all self-planned, self-enjoyment. You tell everybody all the time when it comes to deployment and nationals and all that, this is your motherfucker's trip too. Throw inputs in, which is how we end up in the fucking Niagara Cave doing 550 fucking steps. Thank you, Becky Cooley. But other than that, yeah, it's all about, making your own fun.
That's it. And so I don't get why I don't get how people get upset about, members were upset about the host hotel. That's why I don't stay at the fucking host hotel. There's a million fucking people at the host. Like, there's people out there that like being in that group of people that I like to be adjacent from the decision makers. I like, I like to rub elbows with motherfuckers who think they're in charge. Cool. I'm not one of those people.
We like to go to the national meeting so we can see guys that we haven't seen in a while, dab them up. Hey, how's it going? Blah blah blah. But we're there to have our chapter fun.
Most certainly, yeah. And so nationals was great.
And I thought logistically there were some things that went a lot better than previous nationals as well, i.e., the
internets, the parking, yeah. I mean, absolutely. One thing before we
transition,
we had the first annual honor flight night golf scramble.
That was this past Saturday
at
the Cambridge Country Club.
Here in Ohio.
Great host, by the way.
Yeah.
The staff there was awesome.
And for me and Andy, what's the word? Participate. We showed up. We hit golf balls for 18 holes.
Lost golf balls.
We lost golf balls. We shot a 78 as a team. I think the most honest score on the board.
There was some fucking pencil whipping going on.
I think the most honest score. Like we, as a foursome, we did not re-hit any balls all day, and we fucking collie-whopped a whole lot of fucking balls all day. We didn't re-hit balls. We didn't pick up putts that were that's close enough. That's in. We didn't do that ever. We didn't like these motherfuckers shooting 56, 57. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, there was some pencil whipping going on
Um,
because we were there selling tickets for the bike. We sold quite a few tickets too. There was great support from the staff at the country club and for the participants of the golf scramble. But every time somebody would come by, we'd be like, "Hey, how's things going out there?" "Oh, fuck, man, we ain't hitting shit. It's the weather, blah 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 blah." And then they roll up at the end and yeah, we shot a 56. Shut the fuck up.
right.
You kiss my ass, man.
Yeah.
There ain't no way. Or
And
or did you spend $6,000 in fucking mulligans?
right. And we made the joke out there about, somebody's going to shoot 16 under, and they did. Because notoriously every scramble I've ever participated in, someone has shot 16 under. And I think that's like, I think now it's who is going to be the group to be the group.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, who's going to be the cocksuckers that say we shot 16 under? So that's why you get 57s or 58s. It's like, all right, we're not going to be those guys, but we'll say we shot 58.
You're basically we're gonna say we shot a 57 so that if nobody is dick enough to say they shot a 56, we win.
Right.
But if somebody is, then we look like we weren't pencil whipping. But guess what, motherfucker? You
Right.
pencil whipped.
Right.
Because if you're shooting a 56 or a 57 in the weather that we had that day, why ain't your ass on the tour?
Right. I mean, yeah.
But hey, you know what? You paid money. It went to our charity that we support. Everybody had fun. There was no issues.
No.
There's a little pencil whipping at the end of the day.
I mean,
You're only
have
cheating
that,
yourself.
you have that with all scrambles and
Yep.
but yeah, so some guys from 37-1 came up and played with us. So we appreciate them.
We met the currently active former drill sergeant, current recruiter. The guy the tall guy that we were talking with there for a while at the end. I don't know if we were still talking to him when you guys rolled up.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Good dude, solid dude.
Um,
He got a panhead in his dad's barn.
oh yeah, yeah. So yeah, I mean, just awesome event. I hope we do it every year.
Big shout out to Levi.
Levi
He
Hartman.
He did a great job.
Again, it's amazing. Like, we take riding motorcycles for granted, right? And I say that our state rep, Todd Mountain, wrecked his motorcycle a few days ago. He is currently in the hospital, stable condition.
But he's fucked up.
Yeah, yeah. And nobody likes to ride more than that guy.
Yeah.
Say what you want about Taz, that motherfucker will ride his motorcycle anywhere, and most of the time it's sleeveless. Good dude. I knew Taz before I was even in the organization. So
if you're wondering, he was not at fault.
yeah, he was not at fault. But it don't matter when now you're paying the piper now
because of an inattentive driver.
Yeah, exactly. And thankful, it's one of those things where I'm sure he would say it himself. Thankfully, he was by himself.
Yes.
His wife, She Devil, is such an important, just like Chrissy, just like Brandy, just like Stacy, just like all our spouses are, and significant others.
He did drop to his knee.
He did, but we'll brush over that. But just like all our partners are, she is everywhere that bike goes, he goes, she goes, and also, that bike that he was on was Trax, a brother of ours in our organization who passed a few years ago, and he was able to buy that bike from Trax's wife to help them out and to keep a part of his brother with him. And, yes, you can absolutely replace parts on that motorcycle. Absolutely. But it's not the same bike as it was when Trax had it. You know what I mean? So there's that. And him like myself, I love to get Nova on the bike and get her out in the wind. And yeah, it's scary. Yeah, it absolutely is scary until you get out there and you're in it and you're doing it. And then the fear subsides, and then it's pure enjoyment until someone fucking not paying attention. And that's why sometimes I get a little fucking, like I want to look in the face of the person who fucking cut me off. You know what I mean? And like I've said 100 times, if you cut me off and you immediately acknowledge you're bad, we're all good.
Because we've all done it.
We've all done. And so just a shout out to Taz, speedy recovery. Hope to see you back on a bike soon, brother. And anything you guys need, we're here for you. But yeah, the simple act of a telephone call from one person to another, um, Tim Cox, he's a longtime supporter of this chapter of ours, reaches out to Bobby. Hey, you think you can get some guys together and ride out here? And we want to do something for Brian Hartman, and he's a 82nd Airborne guy, and he got stage 4 cancer, and he's been fighting, and he just got some bad news, and we want to go pick up his spirits, and we did. We got together, we rode out there, and man, the look on that man's face, the look on his face, the look on his wife's face of us showing up, pulling 20, 25 bikes up in the yard, getting off, not ever knowing him, walking up to him, giving him a certificate of appreciation from us, and telling him, I told him that day, I'm like, listen, brother, we don't fight alone. You're not in this fight alone, and neither is your family. And when he passed, they asked me to speak at his eulogy, and I did. And after, at his eulogy, the stuff that we presented him that day was displayed. That's how much that meant to him. That's how much that meant to his family. And, and from that point, I told Levi, I told Brian's wife, I said, listen, you guys are part of our family now. You can't get rid of us now. You know what I mean?
We like a bad penny.
Yeah, you can't get rid of us now. And that's why down in Cumberland, we do a toast every year to Bryant, because he's what gathers us there. He, in his name, is why we, the folks of Cumberland, Ohio, our chapter come together, and we raise so much money to put veterans on the honor flight in his name. And we were able to fucking co-sponsor a flight because of him, because of a ride that two guys just made a phone call one day. We rode out there. They, hey, what are you guys doing for an event this year? Well, it's COVID. We're not having an event. We'll have an event here in my yard. Really? Yeah. And fucking Dr. Fauci don't run shit around here. You know what I mean? You can fucking do whatever you want. Fuck okay, cool. And we did. And we raised $5,000 that year. Holy shit. You know what I mean?
It says so much about that community.
Oh, man.
That little gesture that our chapter did, and not because we thought we were going to get something out of it, but because, hey, can you? Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's a veteran. Yeah. That's done.
Chance
The,
to ride a motorcycle.
the motto is vets helping vets.
That's it.
Got it. We there.
That's it.
But from that chance meeting and the impact that he had within his community and the bond that our chapter has built with his family and that community has led to in the last 4 years a metric shit ton of money
Yep.
going to Honor Flight Columbus.
Yep.
All because, they're like, hey, these guys did a good thing for one of our community members. So how can we help them do more good things?
Yeah.
And that's really what it boils down to.
We put in just one flight, we put 46 veterans on an aircraft and sent them to Columbus, Ohio, to Washington, D.C. We did that as a chapter and as a community. 46 veterans. There was 91 people on that plane that day. And if you put it in that context, what I mean? How many veterans, I get asked a lot, when you go, you give a donation letter, and how many veterans do you help? Well, we put 46 people on a plane. Well, 46, that don't sound like a lot. Well, it's $1,000 a person. Oh, well, that's $46,000.
Roger Wilco.
That's math, bro. You're mathing. And so, and each year, and I'm telling you, man, like that first year we had that bottle, and I brought that bottle down here, and it had the airborne wings on it. And, we got a bottle from Bourbon 30, right? And we've talked about this on previous episodes when we had Bourbon 30 as a featured whiskey. We got a bottle. It had the airborne wings. And, they donated a bottle that day to us, just a basic bottle. And I'm like, well, we'll take this basic bottle to Cumberland and we'll raffle it off. And then I start to thinking, well, unless you're a whiskey person, this bottle here don't mean nothing to you. Bryant was airborne. Let's take this airborne bottle down here. And I'm not, but now you're torn. I don't want to use your love for this person, to up the stakes to get more money. But then I do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I said that, and when I presented it that first year, I said, we're going to raffle this bottle of whiskey from Bourbon 30. It has the airborne wings. Bryant wore these wings. I said, now, we're going to raffle this off with the understanding that we're going to open this motherfucker right here. And us here are going to have a shot for Bryant. And that thing went for fucking $1,500.
And that bottle disappeared.
And we all had a shot. And we put that last shot that didn't get drank, we poured back in the bottle. We capped the bottle off, and I handed it to Brian's wife. They have it. We did it again the next year with the 82nd Airborne bottle. Kept a shot, handed it back. They kept it. Last year, did the same thing. Oh my God, you're giving us another bottle. Hell yes, I am. You know what I mean? And it's that, she's like, you don't know what this means. I'm like, no one fights alone. You know what I mean? And now, and each year, his son wanted to buy that bottle himself. That first year, he bid $1,000. You know what I mean? So he's like, listen, I want to do my part. So then he's like, now I'm gonna take, since you won't let me bid. You know what I mean? And to me, I'm like, no, it's a community thing. Like, I want everybody to put in, and then like last year we got like $1,200 before old boy from Black Sheep stepped in and motherfucked the whole deal. But
I'm Chrissy Vickers right now. My face is talking.
uh, yeah. But anyway, before we lost money after he stepped in. I don't know how that works, but we did it. Um, but yeah, I mean, and Levi was like, I'm buying a fucking bottle, and people didn't want him. People are like, I want that, and and it's nice because again, the donation went up, but Levi's like, okay, you motherfuckers don't want me to directly impact this thing. I'm gonna do my own shit. And he did this golf scramble. He wanted 22 teams to show up. We got 18 teams. It was a shotgun start. There's only 18 holes, so that makes fucking sense to me.
Yeah, it was a good turnout.
And at 320 bucks a team, you do that math real quick. We had to. You have to pay the. You got to give a little coin to the place that opens up for you or whatever.
They were gracious hosts.
Yeah, very good. And
very accommodating.
You get out. So I did a little pre-gaming before. I had 3 beers before we even teed off. I had 2 more beers on the front. And then on the back 9, I was like, hey, Elijah Craig, how are you, sir? And yeah, it didn't make my scoring any better, but it made me feel better about my scoring. So, which at the end of the day, that's what fucking counts. So,
and we sold another 40 tickets for the raffle bike.
We sold tickets for the raffle bike. So it's always a win-win. And if Levi feels a little better about himself that he is doing something, because
it's not that nobody wanted him to put money in. It's the whole reason that event happens is because he lost his father.
Right.
So nobody wants Levi to have to put money in. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
Yeah.
It's not like we don't want you. It's you should never have to pay a penny for any of this.
Yeah, but that's how you're cut from good cloth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's you come from good stock that, you you find your own ways. Hey, this is what we're going to do. So, and he had plenty of sponsors out there. There was a $25,000 hole-in-one hole that I was damn near that motherfucker. I was the only one near. I was the only one not in the woods from our team on that hole. So, when I say damn near, I was in the greenside bunker, but it was the closest one to the hole.
It was the dog hair that threw it off.
Yeah, it was the dog hair that threw it off. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it was a good day. It's great when you play in a group of people that have the same fucking skill set. You know what I mean? That one of you is gonna hit a halfway decent shot of the 4. And we at least in our group we each of the 4 of us had moments of what the fuck was that? What the fuck was that? Like, I mean, hitting like one joke, if the old adage, you don't hit past the women's tee, you have to play with your dick out. I don't know what happens if you don't make it out of the men's tee box. Like we had someone his drive didn't make it out of his own tee box. So but then I think we all had one shot that would bring us back to golf again. So next year, hopefully there is a second annual golf scramble. I will definitely participate again.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah, but I'm either bringing a fucking better pencil to write down better scores, or we might find a ringer out there somewhere that he can go play his own round, and we'll just follow along, bring him clubs.
We'll hit balls so he gets enjoyment out of the day.
Right. Right. So yeah. So all in all, and that we got back from nationals, and then a very quick turnaround into the golf scramble, and then now with July hitting, we're in July. This is our only non-riding week of July.
Yep.
We have fireworks at Senecaville Lake.
Well, no. Let's. There are fireworks at Senecaville Lake, but that's not what we're going for. We're going for the Duke family
Oh yeah,
specials.
yeah. Well, yeah, and then a post will come out later on in the week from our organization's Facebook page that our commander, America is better than your commander, than any other commander in the history of CDMA commanders. But you don't America like the Duke's Americas.
Yeah.
You just don't.
I'm not a big fan of fireworks. I was thoroughly impressed the first year
Yeah.
I went to the Duke
Like
fireworks.
if there's someone again, I will say it out there. If there's someone else that has fireworks in your backyard or on your it ain't a backyard, it's property. He has a mule and all that shit. Yeah, you have fireworks on your property as a resident, and it lasts for 45 fucking minutes. No, not you lighting each fucking smoke bomb and it lasted 45 minutes. No, I'm talking you hit one switch at fucking, dusk, and 45 minutes later the fucking finale starts.
Yeah.
You don't America like our Commander
Yeah.
Americans.
And
Facts.
they spend money on fireworks like most people spend on a small sedan.
Right. Right.
But again, that's because they America.
They America like no other. And I thought prior to 2 years ago, I thought I America like no other. I was like, there ain't no more unapologetically America than me. And then you go to this motherfucker, and then you're like, well, I'll keep wearing my little fucking shorty shirts, and I'll shut my fucking mouth. I know my
Hey,
role.
but you'll be sitting there enjoying fireworks with a belt.
Yeah, yeah, I'll have a belt. So
We're getting motherfucked behind the camera.
I mean, that's cool.
All right.
So moving on.
Yeah.
This week's fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy.
So we have Major General Philip Stewart,
He
2-star general in the United States Air Force. We got an officer from the Air Force getting in on this fuck that guy.
Yeah. And he's currently he's the former commander of the 19th Air Force Joint Base San Antonio. Come on, man. Come on. So he pled not guilty to sexual assault, right?
And originally pled guilty to his other charge, or not guilty to his other charges.
Yes. And right. So he requested trial by court martial, which
So
in the United States Air Force,
his charges were sexual assault,
Yep.
dereliction of duty,
Yep.
conduct unbecoming,
Yep.
and what was the other one? There was one more. I can't remember what they were.
I think that was it. Yep. Sexual assault, dereliction, duty, and conduct unbecoming of an officer.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. And so he, he stood in front of Captain Sobel, and he's like, you don't want to trial by court martial. Just take your punishment like a man. And General Stewart said, "Oh no, I'm going to take trial by court martial." And what that means is when you are a 2-star general, a trial of your peers are also 2-star generals, or higher. So, and not only can you not just find, 9 fucking 2-star generals or higher, but you have to. I don't know what Andy's doing. Oh, he's plugging in the camera. Okay. Um, not only not only is it hard to find, you got to spit on that thing before you put it in. Fuck you guys. So, anyways, um, yeah, not only is it difficult to find just 2-star generals, and you're not, I mean, I don't know how many 2-star generals there are in the United States Air Force. That might be a nice little Google search, but I don't know.
It's not nearly as many as the number of E4s.
Facts. Yeah, I mean, yeah, facts. But so a jury of his peers, so they gathered 18 2-star or higher individuals to sit on this jury. Now, full disclosure, he was found not guilty of sexual assault. People came to testify, including the accused. He was found to have inappropriate relations with a subordinate. That means, in layman's terms, he fucked a subordinate, but they found it was consensual.
And the accuser's stance was, along with the prosecution, was it wasn't consensual because of the implied power dynamic.
Right.
So that was why they were saying it was sexual assault, because she said, I didn't say no because I felt I had to, because he's a 2-star and blah blah blah. So that was why it was considered sexual assault, as opposed to
right,
consensual
right,
sex. That was why the charge was there.
exactly. And and that's one of those things where it's a slippery slope when you get into sexual assault cases. Slippery slope. So yay for not being a convicted sex offender, right? Boo that you cheated on your wife. That's not good.
That was the other one. He was found guilty of adultery
Yeah,
charges.
he pled guilty to adultery.
Yep.
And yeah. So boo, you cheated on your wife. Boo that you're putting subordinates in situations where they're uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Where what did I read? He penetrated her vulva with his penis and his tongue. That was the statement I read.
That shit ain't funny. How else are you supposed to do it? How else are you supposed
I'm
to
just saying.
How else are you supposed to do it?
That's the way the verbiage was written on the statement. My point is that you may not have been found guilty of sexual assault, but bro, you're a 2-star with a subordinate officer who's your assistant or whatever. I mean, you might as well.
Come on, man. Like, everybody knows rule number 1 to adultery is, you never fuck someone who has less to lose than you do. That's rule number 1.
Always fuck up, not fuck down.
Right? If you're fucking with someone out there and she's, if you're married and she's not, you're fucked up. She, like, if you're in a committed relation, I love my wife, but she just don't like to have relations with me. Oh, I fucking hate my husband. I wish that motherfucker would leave. Nope. Not the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not the fucking same. You know what I mean? If you're in a relationship with, man, like, I really want to divorce my wife, but these circumstances keep me from not doing it. But we fucking hate each other, and she's over here like, I really love my husband, but he's in prison, whatever the case may be. You're like, all right, you win. You know what I mean? Like, come on. Rule number one, man. Don't fuck up rule number one. But you did.
So, not guilty of sexual assault,
Yep.
guilty of adultery,
Yep.
guilty of what was it?
What else he's guilty of, and how it caught my eye,
Oh, yeah.
right?
This is the dereliction of duty part.
Yeah. This motherfucker took over flying an aircraft while
And not just any aircraft, the C-17 Globemaster,
Yeah.
which is the Air Force's premier cargo aircraft.
Right.
When I was stationed at McCord, that's what we supported, 141s and then the transition to the C-17s. Yes, the C-5 Galaxy is larger, but it's not flown as much. The C-17 is the workhorse for the Air Force when it comes to cargo aircraft.
Yeah. So, and like, I don't know, Army guys, we wouldn't picture our post commander fucking doing anything.
Well, and he's not just a post commander. This motherfucker was like the Air Force has multiple air forces that cover huge commands.
Right.
Like that's what this fucker was. He was in charge of training.
Right. I get that. But I'm saying the equivalent, like for us in the Army, a 2-star general is a post commander. Right. So like if he's an infantry dude, post commander, like the post commander for Fort Benning. Historically, now Fort Moore, historically was an infantry officer. That dude ain't out patrolling.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I see what you're saying.
But now I get like, okay, in the Navy, you have commanders and admirals, they're on ships. I get that.
But they ain't driving.
They ain't driving the motherfucker. They're not fucking putting torpedoes in, you know what I mean?
Yeah. They're giving commands, but there's motherfuckers still pushing a button.
Yeah. Like this motherfucker's still flying a plane, which I don't know. I don't know the circumstances behind why he needed to fly, but it just
it's the common slang for it is bottle to throttle. There's got to be a set number of hours between when you consume alcohol and when you can take over command.
That makes fucking total sense to me.
Except not to this guy. I think it was like less than 12 hours.
Yeah.
And he was doing low altitude maneuvers in the aircraft where the margin of error is significantly smaller.
Yeah.
And if he was doing it, I think it was in Oklahoma, they said.
Yes, I think so.
When he actually was doing that. If you're doing low altitude maneuvers over a populated area, your margin of error is really small, and your potential of catastrophic civilian casualties is astronomically high. And you're doing it with a little bit of the old sauce in you.
Yeah.
You fucked up, man.
It was like the Denzel Washington movie.
I can't remember the name of it.
Escapes me right now, but same thing. Yeah, like come on, like don't drink and drive. All right, that's pretty self-explanatory. Don't drink and fly.
So, but this right here highlights something we have said numerous times on Fuck That Guy this season. He gets a $60,000 fine.
Yep.
And he's confined to San Antonio
for 6 months.
Yeah. For 1, adultery.
Yeah.
2, dereliction of duty. 3, conduct unbecoming. He drunk flew a multi-million-dollar United States Air Force cargo aircraft.
Yep.
That's all he gets. You and I both know E-nothings that had a DUI in their car on an isolated road. They got kicked.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm not a big fan of DUIs. Okay? But it's not really me. I don't like them. I have personal issues that relate to that.
Right.
But I would much rather give a fucking private 60 days or 6 months confinement to the post for having a DUI on an isolated road than the motherfucking 2-star that's supposed to be over everybody, drunk flying, fucking C-17 Globemaster.
Over everybody.
Like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
now, granted, historic case, a general actually being court-martialed.
Yep.
I got it. The problem I have is this just another fucking notch in the coffin, or the nail in the coffin, to what is perceived as military justice.
Yeah.
Another high-ranking officer is given a fucking slap on the wrist and a free pass for some fucked up shit that would get an E-nothing railroaded.
Yep.
The 20-year-old kid who's not supposed to know better yet versus the motherfucking 2-star general over the 19th Air Force, who's supposed to be the most responsible and the highest moral character of everybody that's in the 19th Air Force.
Yep.
Not the guy that's fucking a subordinate, cheating on his wife, drinking and flying. Like,
Yep. Yep.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. The officer corps, you need to fix your fucking idiots because this is getting ridiculous. Every time we turn around, the news is having another fucking officer doing some stupid ass shit that an enlisted guy would get his dick hammered to the wall from said officer. I bet that 2-star prick has signed off on punishments coming up through the ranks for enlisted guys that are harder than what he got for less shit.
Most certainly.
You hypocritical cocksucker.
Most certainly. Without knowing the facts, I will tell you that's facts.
You know that motherfucker spent time as a squadron commander?
Yeah, there's like, at least in the Army, everybody knows, like, there's always that battalion commander who has a fishbowl on the front of their desk that just has fucking rank in it from the motherfuckers that he pulled rank off. He's like, just put them motherfuckers right there. You won't need them.
Now, you know that he's going to finish out this punishment and they're going to allow that cocksucker to retire as a 2-star.
Right.
Oh.
And that's the travesty. Yeah. Oh, but he did 30 years. Yeah. But one all shit, or in this case, 3 all shit, 4 all shits, negates all them attaboys. You know what I mean?
I don't care that he did 30 years. He's a fucking 2-star. He should have known better.
Right. No.
And he did know better. He thought he was above it.
Right.
But we're going to hammer the fucking 20-year-old kid, 19-year-old kid that just came out of high school that's still trying to figure out fucking life.
Oh, yeah.
Who's going to make fuck-ups? Because we were 20-year-old kids. We know what 20-year-old kid fuck-ups do.
Yeah, most certainly.
And you're going to hammer that poor bastard to the wall because he's an adult and he should have known better. This fucker's a grown-ass man. With 2 fucking stars on his collar, in charge of the 19th Air Force, out there doing some dumb shit. And you know, if he was fucking around on his wife with a subordinate as a 2-star, he's been doing that shit for a hot fucking minute.
Yeah.
You don't just magically wake up one day, look at your collar, and go, oh shit, I got 2 stars. I guess I can go fucking around. And then the worst part is the fucking picture in the article you sent with that motherfucking just narcissistic cocksucker smile on his face.
Yeah.
Oh.
The picture looks, now, take me saying this. I get it. You're like, who the fuck are you to talk about? But the picture looks weird, man. You're like, man, how he pulling pussy with that?
Yeah, I
don't know. But,
my God.
You know, it's about the stars I get.
Yeah. I'm gonna put that picture in here at this point where we're talking so people can actually see what this creepy fucking motherfucker looks like.
Yeah, he's weird.
God damn it.
But that's what this segment's about. You know what I mean? It's about highlighting highlighting the sometimes the injustices of the military that, senior enlisted and senior officers get treated a different way.
Which, again, I will never understand why we give the guys that have the most accountability or the most responsibility for others the least accountability for their fuck ups
for themselves,
and we give the most accountability for guys that are responsible for just themselves.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
I don't fucking get it.
Yep.
That is such a the uniform code of military justice should be applied equally. but the scales of justice in the military are so heavily fucking skewed, officer versus enlisted, that it just boggles my motherfucking mind.
And Andy, can you scroll this down a little bit, or scroll it up, or whatever? You know, part of this, yeah, like go back up a sec. What's
Yeah,
Sherilyn
Bunn, his
Bunn?
attorney.
Yeah, she was all upset that finding 18 officers was such a problem for the Air Force. The Air Force was not prepared.
AETC, which is Air Education Training and Command, was not better prepared to fill a jury panel in a timely manner. He's a fucking 2-star. It's the first time it's ever happened.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe not prepared to do that because most fucking 2-stars don't do dumb shit like this.
Right. And yeah, and then just giving them the business that the proceedings are delayed because of the we got to pull fucking 2-stars and 3-stars from around the Air Force.
Yeah, let's shut down fucking Air Force operations because this cocksucker can't fucking do the right thing.
Yeah, you can't keep a dick in his.
Yes, everyone should get a timely jury trial when requested. I get that. But guess what? It's timely. And you can't just shit fucking a dozen goddamn officers out your ass because this guy's a goddamn moron.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got a better idea. Instead of hammering the Air Force for not ever having a procedure in place to take care of a 2-star that fucks up this bad, maybe, just maybe, I don't know, I'm throw this craziness out there, you hold the fucking 2-star accountable and maybe not be so fucking narcissistic that you demand a goddamn court-martial and just own up to the fact that you fucked the pooch so goddamn hard, they're still going to give you your fucking retirement, you cocksucker. Oh,
yeah. Yeah. And
I get angry.
Disclaimer, we're not calling the sexual assault victim a pooch.
No.
It's the proverbial pooch.
Right.
Yeah. I'm with you. I'm translating.
Like, I get mad at the officers that we've highlighted on here that commit heinous acts against children, which we've had a few, which I don't fucking get either. But up to this point, hadn't been a whole lot of Air Force officers. I've been able to be on the high ground a little bit for my branch. But then the last 2 guys you've sent, this one and that cocksucker down in Florida, I think it was.
Yeah. Well, and his shit's still pending. Right. So you may see him.
Oh, we definitely going to see him because I have a
his shit's still pending.
I have a particular bone to pick with that fucker too. Right. But yeah, I mean, I appreciate that we equally shed light on dick fucks in all branches. But
But do you see this? They stole a Confederate train for the Union. Now 2 Civil War privates will receive the Medal of Honor. Just what we were talking about, like when we did the Medal of Honor show. Like, hey, listen, like there's a thin line between fucking receiving the Medal of Honor and fucking getting court-martialed.
Yeah. 2 Civil Wars. Sorry, guys. On this article we have up in front of us, there's like more military headlines on the right. This is at military.com. And it's 2 pictures of 2 it's a 2 cats from the Civil War. And the headline is, they stole a Confederate train for the Union. Now, 2 Civil War privates will receive the Medal of Honor. Obviously, this will be posthumously.
Right.
Because it's like, fuck, 100.
You look at the picture, is like, what's your name?
Yeah, right?
My name's Ezekiel.
Ezekiel?
Which is perfect for this segment.
Yeah.
But not the, things catch my eye, but yeah. So Gerald Stewart.
Fuck that guy.
And we'll see you next time.
Cocksucker.